A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Listen then to Second Class Passenger, starring Sterling Holloway. A tale well calculated to keep you in
suspense.
That's me, Ronald A. Dawson, Second Class Passenger. Oh, I could have afforded first class by pinching a little here and there. But nobody back at Ralston's department store will ever know. The important thing is that they'll say, Ronald Dawson in drapery is taking a cruise around the world. And then there's really very little difference in the accommodations. And the second-class passengers, well, they're every bit as interesting as the first-class crowd. Take Miss Patterson, for instance. You'd look far to find a more charming, likable, altogether desirable young lady. Just the life of the party. We'd gotten to be quite good friends by the time our cruise put in at Mozambique. Although the competition was always stiff, I can tell you. But there were times I wish those other two, Jones and Twitchell, had missed the boat somewhere along the line.
Well, we've still a good couple of hours before we sail.
How about a ride in one of these native carriages, Miss Patterson?
Do you think they'd be clean?
Personally, I doubt it.
Although I don't know if I should care too much now. That whistle made me so woozy.
It would take a Greek to think up a drink like that.
Or to drink it.
Miss Patterson, you'd kill me.
Well, we might do the fort, you know. The guidebook says it's a main point of interest. Let's see, built by the Portuguese in 1600.
Oh,
it covers an area.
I must say this is a dreary place.
It's not at all like what you'd imagine Mozambique to be.
It's a one-horse town, all right. Main street and a couple of alleys.
And so dirty, you'd think they'd do something about it in this day and age.
It would be a relief to get back on board ship and have a nice hot bath.
Yeah, and real American food instead of that greasy fried octopus we had for lunch at that Greek place.
Ooh, wasn't it awful?
Part of the broadening experience of travel.
Yes, I suppose so. Like that cute idol I bought. I can't wait to get it back. Mr. Dawson?
Yes, Miss Patterson?
Where's my idol?
Oh, I thought Jones had it. Or Twitchell.
No, not me, old man.
You insisted on carrying it for Miss Patterson, don't you remember?
Oh, dear. I must have left it back at the Greek restaurant. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I did so want that idol. Don't you think you could go back for it, Mr. Dawson?
Well, yes, of course. That is, but I wonder if I'll have time before the boat sails.
Oh, I'm sure you will, if you hurry.
Certainly, old man. You've got more than an hour yet.
You're positive?
Absolutely.
Well, then I suppose I'll have to.
Oh, you're so kind, my dear Mr. Dawson. Now, mind you don't miss the boat.
Oh, I'll try not to. Well, chances are, actually, that I'll catch up with you before you reach the landing stage.
And we'll wait for you till the very last minute.
Oh, that Jones, insisting I had time. I knew there was time, but I had no desire to run off after a heavy bronze curio and leave him and Twitchell alone with Miss Patterson. She was much too nice a person, and they were just simply not her kind of people. But there was no helping it now. So I made my way back up the main street toward Lazarus's restaurant, where we'd had our indigestible Greek lunch. Somehow this main street of Mozambique looked different now in the quick African twilight. The little saloons and the sidewalks were filling with men of every nationality and color. Many of them wore knives thrust through the belts of their thin white suits. Knives that looked as sharp as the glances they threw at me. Oh, I must confess, I felt a little strange and unwanted. Then, lounging toward me in the crowd, I saw a tall, large woman wrapped in a sort of a sheet thing, and her brown face was unveiled. She had very wide lips, and they were painted scarlet. And from the corner of her mouth dangled a cigarette. Her eyes were heavily mascaraed, and when she looked at me, slowly, terror seized me. I was afraid she'd speak to me. I didn't know what I should do or say. But she didn't. Instead, she laughed. Oh, and the way the Lauderers responded, I was convinced that they were laughing with her and at me. Well, I must say I was relieved to reach the entrance of Lazarus' restaurant.
Good evening, sir. A little dinner for the gentlemen?
Oh, no, thank you. Well, as a matter of fact, I just lunched here today.
Ah.
Very good. Excellent meal.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Well, see, I left a curio here. Probably under the table. Have you found it?
A curio?
Yeah, it's some sort of a brass god, I think. It was wrapped in a newspaper.
Yes, we got him right here for you.
Oh, that's good. See, I'm in a hurry to get back to the boat.
Oh, yes, you hurry. Pretty soon it's going to rain.
Rain? Huh. There's not a cloud in the sky.
Oh, you'll see. Every night you rain in Mozambique.
Well, you ought to know, I suppose. Still, I doubt it. Oh, here. Buy yourself a cigar.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. You hurry quick before it's going to rain.
Yeah. Well, don't you worry about me. I'm not made of sugar, you know. In just a few moments I'd been inside that restaurant, it had grown quite dark. That sudden nightfall of the tropics. I looked overhead and clearly saw the stars. So thinking what a bad weather forecaster the Greek was, I tucked Miss Patterson's silly bronze idol under my arm and started off for the waterfront. I hadn't gone 200 yards when a large, warm drop of rain splattered on the back of my neck. Then 2 more on my hat. And before I could take cover under the arch, it was raining like Indiana in April. And it didn't look like it would let up soon either. And I wondered if there might not be a shorter way to the waterfront, down the main street and then the long way to the left along the dock. Surely one of these alleys that turned off to the left would lead me directly to the harbor and the landing stage. So I turned into the alley. 4 steps from the main street, and I was engulfed in darkness, wading through filth and mud up to my ankles. But I was certain that I was on the right track, so I strode on and walked straight into a blank wall. Well, I turned to retrace my steps, but I could see no light anywhere. I felt along the wall until it gave into another alley. So I followed it to another blank wall. Oh, now I knew I was lost. And now it began to rain in earnest. I don't know how far I walked through those foul, smelly alleys, nor for how long. But at last, feeling my way, I saw a slit of light, a horizontal flicker beckoning beneath the door. And I heard voices. I lifted the bronze idol and tapped on the door with it, and the voices stopped.
What do you want?
Oh, I've lost my way. See, I'm wet through and through, and I don't know where I am. Please, may I come in? No, please, may I come in?
Of course you can come in. You aren't exactly who we expected, but come in.
What is that?
I beg your pardon?
That parcel you are carrying.
Oh, it's a souvenir. It's sort of an idol, I think. A friend of mine left it to rest.
And you? You're a tourist from the cruise boat, eh?
Well, yeah, that's right. How'd you know?
This wasn't very difficult. What are you doing here so late and so wet? The boat sails soon.
Yeah, I know. I see, I was trying to take a shortcut to the landing stage. I got lost somehow.
No?
I came ashore with some friends from the second class. I left them to come back and fetch this idol, and, well, here I am.
Hang on. Yeah? Give the young man a chair.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, thank you very much. But, see, I must go on as soon as the rain stops. If you could direct me.
Well, it will not stop for a while yet, so you may as well wait here.
Yes, we may be able to provide some unscheduled excitement for our second-class tourist town. As soon as your friends arrive, my dear.
Friends? The police are not my friends.
Well, you led them to us.
Would you walk about with your knife forever while I take all the risks?
Risks?
7 months. You have done what you willed, untouched. I bought your freedom for 7 months with smiles and love.
Well, you could have talked with the prefect of police again.
Again and again, and for what? Life is not spending money. One pays for living, my friend, with work, sometimes with jail. I have paid. Now it is your turn.
You could have helped us once more. Only once more, and we could have been out of this sewer and down the coast of Lorenzo Mark or Cape Town.
No, why didn't you? Why didn't you help us once more?
Yes, why?
Always you say once more, once more. Now there is no more.
You are a sheep taker, defiled and...
I beg your pardon, sir.
What?
That's no way to speak to a lady.
What?
No, I'm serious. I am very serious. I do not like to hear such language used to a lady. I must ask you to apologize.
What the devil have you got to do with this?
You just came out of the rain from the second class.
Please, don't fight with him. There's trouble enough already.
What the devil right has he got to come in here and...
Yesterday you stabbed the Egyptian.
Well, what of it?
Don't stab this one. Do you want the police to find you here with a corpse?
A corpse?
What does it matter how the police find us? We wait for them because we have no choice. You put them on us. Well, we should do away with you.
Why do you lie? Even to yourself. Why must you hide your own blame behind my skirts? Great Mother of Heaven, you are neither man nor beast. You are
Don't you dare say that.
There. You are just a thief and a macro.
No one says that to me unless...
He got a knife?
Macro!
No, you don't.
Why, you swinehund.
And you stand back or I'll brain you with this idol if I brain him.
You do what? You think I carry only a knife?
Hey, dogs! I have waited for this moment! He forgot. I carry a knife, too.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, look what I did to that one with this bronze idol.
It makes a good weapon, your idol. It was a grand blow. A king's blow. You cannot help him now.
I've killed a man with this little curio. And you killed another one with your knife.
Blow out the candles. Now come. It is not raining so hard.
Señor, podemos usar la
It is the police. They have come for these two.
Oh, what do we do?
There is a door nearby. We must find it. Feel along the wall here.
Yes.
Father, it must be here.
Oh, yes, here it is.
Push it in.
Oh, it won't budge. It's bolted from the inside.
You must push it in. It is the only way.
Oh, yeah. Look, would you hold this idol for me?
I have it.
Right. Now. Not yet.
Hit it again.
It's giving us.
Once more. Good, my friend, my great, strong friend. Up these stairs now, quickly.
Where are we going now?
To the roof. The rain has stopped.
Yeah. The stars are coming out.
There is your ship out in the harbor.
Oh, I must get to it.
Listen, you hear them? We are not safe yet. Over to the wall to the next roof. Hurry. Now, over the next parapet.
Right. Up you go.
Come up quietly.
What's that down there? A tent?
Yes. People are asleep. You must walk like a cat.
Who are they?
Who knows? If they see us, they will think you have come after their woman.
Oh, but no, see, I could say that...
There would be nothing to say. Shh. Someone is calling out of the tent.
And he's coming this way?
Yes.
Why hasn't he seen us?
His eyes are clouded with sleep, perhaps.
And if he sees us?
It will be too late.
Then he won't. There and there. Well, guess that took the fight out of him.
Take this, my little knife. Just a prick, and he is quite safe.
Oh, no, see, he's quiet enough now. He won't harm us. I really did him in, didn't I?
It was splendid. With only the bare hands to take an armed man.
Armed? I didn't know he was armed.
Of course, that you may always be sure. Look, there in his loincloth.
A dagger?
Yes. You are truly magnificent, my friend. You are a man.
You are a woman? Of course, I don't expect you to believe any of this. Well, looking back, I'm still unsure it really happened to me. It's as though I dreamed it. Perhaps I did. No, that's nonsense. See, for there's the scar on my lower lip here, where she bit me. I didn't feel a thing at the time, but there's the scar. It was mad, I know, but I guess I just must have surrendered completely to the wild spirit of the African coast. I didn't seem to see the great ship anymore lying out there in the harbor, her lights blinking on the comforts of civilization in the second class. No, all my senses were focused on the slim, breathtaking figure leading me across the rooftops to a shadowy destination in which only one thing was certain. She would be there. I suppose, in that moment, armed only with that bronze idol, I was invincible. At last, she led me down a creaking wooden stair that hung precariously on the sheer side of a house. And once more, we were in the mud of a gloomy alley. Even the way she slid her arm along mine, softly grasped my hand, filled me with greater power than I'd ever known. Hand in hand, we made our way down the alley and out into a little square where a night breeze rustled in the palms and smelled of the sea. And across the way, a dim light showed through a big open door.
The little church of San Sebastian.
Oh.
The police.
After all this...
¿Qué você quer?
Yo tengo orden para levar você.
¿Por qué?
Venga conmigo.
Capitão, não outra maneira de sair?
No. Você está preso.
Now, so what's the matter with him? What's he want?
He says he won't let me go.
Oh, he won't he? What's he want you for?
Oh, my friend, these little policemen, they always arrest me when they get a chance. It is tiresome.
No faz mais. Vamos.
Listen, copper. You scram, see? Take it on the lamb. Take a powder.
Se você não cala a boca e
Look, another word out of you. Look, I said scram.
Run before he can get to his feet. No, not that way. Into the church. To sanctuary. My magnificent one. You fear no one. You fight for me. So long as there is anyone to fight.
Yes?
Now there will always be someone to fight. They will never leave us alone.
Will they follow us in here?
These police might do anything. But I know one door they will not dare follow us through.
Where is that?
Come. This way. Here. This door. Let me wrap my skirt close. Now, come cleanly through the middle. Please do not rub the walls as you come. There. You're safe for a while. They will not follow us through that door.
Why not?
It was the door of the lepers.
The door of the lepers?
It is all right. We did not touch the portals. See? Down the alley are the lights of the waterfront.
Yeah. Well, where do we go now?
We have a little time now to breathe the clean air of the harbor. And then I know a little place where we... Someone is coming. Step back in the shadow until they have passed.
Listen.
What is it?
Right home about.
Wonder what's happened to good old Dawson.
Bridge, no doubt.
Oh, I do hope he's found my idol.
Oh, the idol. I must return the idol.
No, don't. My friend, this is the greatest danger of all.
Goodbye.
Don't go. Magnificent one, don't go.
Goodbye. Hello there.
Why, here's Mr. Dawson.
Well, I guess I got here before you, it seems.
Did you find the idol?
Yes. But for a moment there, I was afraid I would miss the boat.
I say, old man, you're a bit disheveled.
I got caught in the rain.
And my idol. Mr. Dawson, you got it all dirty.
Yes. It is a bit mussed, I'm afraid. I dropped it once or twice.
Well, that was clumsy of you.
Well, nothing that a little soap and water won't put to rights, I dare say.
Well, we'd better hurry along. I'd hate to have to spend any more time in this dreadful place.
And so should I.
Well, there's the whistle. Last warning. Come on, everybody.
Yes, come on, Dawson. We'll miss the boat.
In just a moment.
I say, who's that standing over there in the shadow of that alley?
Where?
There. I could have sworn I saw someone wave goodbye to you.
Perhaps you did. Goodbye to Mozambique, to adventure, to romance.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. Adventure, romance, in this pest hole.
Twitchell, what would you say if I told you I had just killed a man? Fled over the rooftops of the city, made love to a beautiful woman, fought the police, escaped through the left gate?
I'd say you had the wildest imagination I'd ever heard of. Nothing like that ever happens to a second-class passenger.
Come on, Mr. Dawson. We'll miss the boat.
Suspense. In which Sterling Holloway starred in Second Class Passenger, adapted by William N. Robeson from the story by Percival Gibbon. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. 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 And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
A man's got to have a good reason to renounce his native land forever. A reason to say, like death. Or worse, life under tyranny. For this reason, thousands of men and women and children who loved freedom more than fatherland have made their way across the frontier to the west in the past 2 months. Of the more than 20,000 who have arrived in the United States, only 8 have been sent back. This might have been the story of one of these. Listen, then, to Freedom This Way, starring Mr. Hans Conried.
Look out the right side of the plane, the stewardess is saying. You will see the lights of New York. And you do. But you cannot see them very clearly because your eyes are filled with tears.
Look down there on the water.
Yes, it is the Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty. Mama, is that maybe heaven down there? Yes, my dear, maybe it is.
New Jersey back. No, she's telling you are landing at the McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey, in America. Stay in your seat, she says, until your name is called. And that is all right. You can wait a little longer now that you are safe. You can sit and wait and listen to the band outside, welcoming you with the music that reminds you of home.
Hello, Hodges.
You don't hear the officer the first time. You lean back in that seat, wrapped in the warm mantle of security.
Hello, Hodges.
Oh, yes, sir.
You, Bill Hodges?
Yes, sir.
Come with me. Alone.
Oh, but, sir,
You understand English, don't you?
Yes, sir.
I said come with me. Alone. Sit down.
Thank you very much, sir.
Before you left Vienna, you filled out certain forms, did you not?
Yes, sir.
And signed them?
Yes, sir.
Is this one of the forms you filled out?
Yes.
And this is your signature? Bella Hodges?
Yes, sir.
But it's not your name. Is it? Is it?
No.
Your real name is Bartok, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Gazer Bartok.
Do you know that the penalty for giving false information to the United States immigration authorities is immediate deportation to the country of your origin?
No, sir. No, I can't go back.
You should have thought of that when you falsified your entry papers.
No, I couldn't help it, sir. I had to.
Why did you have to?
Will you believe me if I tell you, sir?
I'll try to. You people are welcome here, or we wouldn't have brought you here, but you've got to play the game according to the rules.
I know, sir. It was wrong of me, I suppose, but there was nothing else I could do. It is difficult to explain. How shall I put it? We were free, you see. For 5 days, we were free. I was one of the ones who took over Radio Budapest on 23rd October. We renamed it Radio Free Budapest, and we broadcast truth instead of lies, but not for long. 2 days after the Russians returned, while the Hungarian freedom fighters were selling each street corner with their lives, I made the last throw.
Budapest, Szabadság Radio. The Red Army says, I advance rapidly now. We haven't got enough guns or enough ammunition. But we will hold out to the last drop of blood. Suspense Marathon. Goodbye, friends. God save our souls. The rest are finished.
The studio took a direct shell hit, and that was the end of Radio Free Budapest. Those of us who were not killed were herded into Koporosi House, headquarters and prison of the dreaded and hated ABH, the security police. When my eyes became accustomed to the gloom of the cell, I discovered that I was not alone. Another man was lying motionless on the bunk opposite mine. He was not sleeping. His eyes were open, but he did not seem to see me. He seemed to look straight through me. I smiled, but his face remained motionless. Oh, this thing. Hello. Hello, I'm talking to you. Don't you hear me? What's the matter with you? Answer me. Answer me. At first I thought he remained silent because he feared I was informer. And then, as the long night dragged by and the dirty gray light through the grilled window announced another day, I became convinced that it was he who worked for them. I was now convinced he was part of the psychological breakdown. He was the first modest step in a process that would end with my voluntary confession to a dozen crimes that I had never committed, implicating 100 persons I scarcely knew. And he sat there and stared through that long day and the next. And then, sometime during the night, the guards came.
Very well. Follow me.
Who? Me?
Not you, the other one. We are not ready for you yet, but we will be. You, leader, come.
Oh, why don't you stop this comedy? You know this man is one of you, a secret police.
We do not shoot our own, and him we are going to shoot.
It is true, my friend. You can talk. Of course. And here, too. At first, I thought you were an informer. Me? No, I thought... Now I know. So I wish you better luck than I had. His eyes were dry. His chin was firm. And he shook my hand. And then he turned and walked through the door. After the barred door had clanked shut and was doubly locked, and the footfalls had died away in the corridor, I unclenched my right fist. When he had shaken my hand, the condemned man had pressed into my palm a pitifully small steel file. I whirled around to the window. Yes, the center bars had been filed, almost through. It must have taken weeks of the utmost patience, a labor that my presence had interrupted, a project now devolving upon me. I failed to work with the will, but it was work, tedious work. The fingers aching as they sought to grip the tiny file, the arms bone-weary from the short, small strokes, but work that went ahead, all through the rest of that night and the next, until all was in readiness. I pried the bars apart and started out the window and got stuck halfway through. I struggled and turned, tearing my clothes, tearing my flesh, and finally breaking loose from the iron vice, I lost my balance and tumbled into the yard below, full in the blinding circles of the prison searchlight.
Here, drink this slowly.
Thank you. As I drank the chalky fluid, my eyes slowly came into focus and my ears into tune. I was in a bed in a hospital ward. My heart leaped and sank, for the sun which streamed through the windows fell upon the floor in the pattern of bars. I turned to the young nurse standing over me, impersonal, impervious. My eyes must have expressed the question. She replied impassively.
You did not get far. You are still in Koporosi house.
I was not lucky enough to be shot.
You will be when you have recovered.
Why? Why did they not...
Quiet. You must be quiet. The doctor will be here in a minute.
She nodded toward the door, and as I looked in that direction, the doctor entered. My heart stopped for an instant, and then raced. It was Frankie Johnny. I knew him. He was one of us. Or had been back in 1944, in the days when the underground was pushing the Nazis out of Budapest.
This is the new patient, doctor. Attempted escape.
Oh, yes. I was told about this one.
Doctor.
One of the freedom fighters, eh? Seems you have lost your freedom, and there's no fight left in you. Eh, my little man?
Doctor, aren't you Frankie Johnny? Don't you remember me, Boto Chiesa? Don't you remember how we held the Margate Siget against the Nazis in 44 when we were both students?
Obviously delirious nurse. Increases sedation.
Frankie Johnny, what are you doing here in Koporosi house? Have you forgotten the words of Precipice Chandor? How our father shouted them in 1919. How we shouted them in 44. How those kids shouted them last week. Marchers, rise! Your country calls you. Meet is our, whatever befalls you.
Yes, obviously delirious. Better move him to a private room where he can't disturb the others.
Yes, doctor.
Now, the next.
It was not long before I learned why the renegade Dr. Secretary had moved me to a private room. Late that evening, when the hospital was most quiet, he paid me a visit.
Well, how's the little freedom fighter tonight?
I don't need your care nor your insults, Dr. Turncoat Secretary.
It was quite a show you put out on the walk this afternoon, Geza Bartok, but scarcely the time nor the place.
No. You did remember me then, huh?
Keep your voice down. You didn't expect me to recognize you in that crowded ward, did you?
No. No, of course not. It was foolish of me, but to find you working for them, I know. No, why, Dr. Fekete? Why?
Are you married, Geza?
No, a revolutionary cannot afford the luxury of family life.
And a family man cannot afford the luxury of revolution.
Oh, you excuse yourself with sentimental rubbish.
You will think differently when you become a husband and a father.
Which is as likely as my ever escaping from Koporoshi House.
Others have.
Oh.
With my assistance.
Oh, Doctor, forgive me. I did not realize.
There are more ways of serving than shouting patriotic verses at the top of your lungs.
Yes, of course there are.
Now, first of all, we must make you ill.
Make me ill? Listen, I feel bad enough as it is.
Yes, but your sprains and contusions aren't enough to keep you in the hospital more than a few days. And we may need more time than that.
For what? How will you get me out?
I haven't the slightest idea at the moment. In matters of this sort, we improvise as we go along.
Dr. Fekete was true to his word. The following morning, the nurse Anna gave me an injection. And by that afternoon, I was sicker than I ever remembered. Time stopped. Days and nights ran together in nauseous delirium, marked only by the periodic hypodermic injections. At last came the day when the injection did not throw me into wretched convulsions. Instead, my head seemed to be clearer. I was dimly aware of being wheeled along the corridor by Nurse Anna. And then I found myself in a small operating room. Dr. Fekete was there, and a nurse, and a still form on the operating table. A form with a sheet drawn over its head. And vaguely I heard Dr. Fekete say,
"Make out the death certificate this way, nurse. Name, Bartok Geza. Cause of death, internal injury sustained while attempting escape."
Doctor.
Yes, Geza? Just like quietly. Since you're now quite dead. You can fill in the rest of it down at the morgue.
There is no more room in the morgue, Doctor. They are stacking the bodies in the courtyard now.
Good. In that case, they may even display the corpse of Geza Bartok.
But if that's Geza Bartok lying there and he's dead, who am I?
You are now Bela Hayos. And you have a great deal to learn while you're convalescing from your emergency appendectomy.
It seemed too good to be true. There must be a flaw somewhere. I worried about it. I wondered about it as the nurse wheeled me back to a new room, to Bela Hayos' room. When the doctor came by that night, my head was buzzing with a dozen unanswered questions. But, doctor, if I couldn't hope to get out of Koporoshi House, how can you be so sure that Bela Hayos will be released?
Bela Hayos was picked up along with 100 other suspects 2 days before the rebellion began. The guilty police could prove nothing against him.
Then why wasn't he free when we took over the city?
He was in the prison hospital with acute appendicitis. Too sick to be moved. He was still there when the Russians returned. Certain proof that he had nothing to do with the rebellion. He will be released as soon as your appendectomy is healed.
You are sure?
I guarantee it. Now take this and learn it tonight.
What is it?
The facts about Bela Hayos. The answers to the questions you will be asked before they release you. You must be able to answer everything on this page instantly. A single slip will mean death for you. And for me, too.
Why are you doing this, Doctor?
Call it patriotism or a guilty conscience. In any case, it's the least I can do for men like you.
I spent the rest of the night reading and rereading about the man I had become, concentrating fiercely to absorb every tiny detail. Then, a few moments before the nurse arrived on her morning round, I followed the doctor's orders, tore the piece of paper into 100 pieces and swallowed them. And that night, Dr. Fekete began rehearsing me.
Name?
Hayosh Bela.
Date of birth?
7 July 1920.
Place of birth?
Modurova.
Military service?
Under Lieutenant 14th Hussars, wounded twice, awarded rank. Over and over again, hour after hour, night after night.
Mother's name?
Zita Radna.
Father's name?
Janos.
Very good, Dehlia. I would say you're ready to be released from the hospital.
At last. But what about my identity paper?
Your personal effects were taken from you when you were arrested. Your passport will be returned to you when you are released.
Passport? It will have Hayosh's picture in it.
And so it has. Your picture.
But how
do you think we are not thorough? At least as thorough as the security police?
Yes, but how could you make?
Geza Bartok was photographed when he was arrested, was he not?
Yes.
The photograph of Geza Bartok is now affixed to Bela Hayosh's passport.
I don't see how you could manage.
To survive, a slave sometimes has to excel the master at his own game. Be prepared to leave the hospital in the morning.
When I appeared next morning before the interrogating officer, all hope left me. He was not of the Hungarian security police. He was a Russian, a captain in the Soviet intelligence service. Apparently, the Russians were taking no chances on another slip-up in this satellite. On the desk before him was spread the dossier of Bela Hayosh. And the play for which Dr. Fekete had so well rehearsed me began.
Name?
Hayosh Bela.
Born when?
7 July 1920.
Where?
Modurova.
Mother's name?
Zita Radna.
Father's name?
On and on, question after question and answer after right answer. Finally, the captain seemed satisfied and tore open a brown manila envelope, dumping its contents on the desk before me. A few coins, a wallet.
Wait. What is this? A passport?
Yes, sir.
Where are your other papers? Identity card, ration card?
They came for me in the middle of the night. I did not have time.
No time? No time to find anything but a passport? Because a passport is what you need to get over the border. Why did you want to leave the country?
I didn't want to leave the country.
You need a passport to cross the Danube from Buda to Pest?
No, but a passport has always been sufficient.
You wanted to leave the country? Why?
But I didn't.
You lie. All Hungarians are liars.
I fought back the compulsion to spit into the face of this swinish Slav. And then he pushed the passport and the wallet toward me, indicating that having insulted me, the interview was over. As I picked up the wallet, something fell out of it and fluttered to the desk. A picture of a woman. A woman who was a complete stranger to me. Before I could retrieve it, the captain snatched it up.
Whose picture is it?
My wife.
You do not seem sure.
Of course I'm sure it is my wife.
Name?
Margit.
Age?
25.
You love her?
Yeah.
She loves you?
Of course.
Then why is she not here to take you home?
She didn't know I was being released today.
Why didn't you inform her?
Do you think anyone from here would have taken her the message?
Her? Yes, I would have. Not bad. Not bad at all. Undoubtedly one of the heroic women of Budapest. Those great patriots who brave our tanks with bared breath to lay wreaths upon their heroes' graves. Why isn't she here to meet you?
I wanted to surprise her.
It is a scene I must witness. The surprise of your hero wife. You do not mind if I accompany you home?
No. No, of course not. I knew the game was up, but I was determined to play it through to the last move.
I sat beside this distrustful sadist in the back of the staff car, and as we picked our way through the rubble of Budapest, I thought time had turned back 12 years to the war. Lime-covered bodies still lay decomposing in the streets. Smashed and burned tanks blocked the intersection. In a hole blown from the third floor of an apartment house, a bathtub teetered ridiculously. There was no traffic. Budapest seemed uninhabited. For that day, all Hungary had gone on a general strike of protest. At last, our silent journey ended at 19 Molnarfield, my home. I mean, Béla Hajós's home.
What are you waiting for?
I'm afraid. Of what? My wife, when she sees you in that uniform, I'm afraid she will be frightened.
A Hungarian woman frightened? I thought nothing frightened a Hungarian woman. Get out.
Please, let me go in alone.
Yes, but just for time to explain. Yes, to explaining. I will explain.
Is one on? Who's there?
Én vagyok. It's I, Béla.
Béla?
My Edison, darling.
Oh.
I'm back home. Back home. You didn't expect me, I know. Oh, darling. It's so good to hold you in my arms again. Oh, I'm so happy.
She does not seem so happy to see you.
I told you she'd be frightened by your presence, but she is happy. Aren't you, darling?
Of course I am happy. It is just I am very lost for her.
There. You see, Captain?
Would not any wife be happy when her husband returns, even if he does forget to kiss her?
Oh, my love, forgive me.
Mama, can I go out and play?
Mama is busy here.
Oh, arrested.
What?
Now run along or he will take you away with him.
This is your child?
Yes.
I asked him.
Yes, it is our child.
I suppose she has a name?
Certainly.
I asked him. What is her name?
It's Patsy. That's Patsy. It's Patsy.
Shut up.
But that is my name.
Of course it is, darling. And now if you will excuse us, Captain, my husband and I have a lot to talk about, privately. And thank you so much for driving him home.
Monsieur.
I owe you an explanation.
No, you do not.
And I owe Cutty my thanks for not giving me away.
Cutty's father taught her not to ask questions in front of strangers. When did my husband die?
A week ago.
I knew he wouldn't be back. This time I knew he wouldn't be back. You must be hungry. May I get you something to eat?
Oh, please don't bother.
It is never a bother to feed a hungry man.
With her husband dead, there was nothing to keep Margaret in Budapest any longer. And certainly it was no safe place for me. And so Béla Hajós, his wife and daughter, made the long, difficult journey across the frontier to Vienna.
Well, that's quite a story, Mr. Hajós. There's one point that beats me.
What is that, please, sir?
Once you were safely in Vienna, why did you go on impersonating Béla Hajós? Why didn't you tell the authorities the truth?
Because of Cutty, mostly. During that long trip across the border, hiding in the forest, wading through swamps, walking in the cold rain, she clung to me and called me Papa, until it almost seemed as though I really were her Papa. Yes, until it seemed I was really Margaret's husband. I was all they had, you see. They needed me.
Mm-hmm. And so you entered the United States as man and wife.
That's right.
But you're not married.
There was no time.
That's another section of the immigration law you've broken, Mr. Hajós. Comes under the heading of moral turpitude.
There he is, Mama.
Huh?
Here's Papa talking to the man.
Do not disturb him now, Cutty. You can see he is busy.
Who is the man, Mama?
I thought you said Corty had been trained not to ask questions in front of strangers.
Why, I told her it would not be necessary in America. I told her in America it was safe to talk to anyone.
What's your name?
Well, you call me Uncle Sam.
Are you a good uncle?
I try to be. Oh, one last question, Mr. Hodgos.
Yes, sir?
How much money do you have with you?
Oh, I'm afraid not very much. A few pengar and some offering shillings.
No American money?
Oh, no, sir, but I hope to find a job quick.
I'm sure you will. In the meantime, here's $2.
But why?
Take them. You'll need them.
What for?
The marriage license.
Juan Connery starred in Freedom This Way, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and written by Erno Barabesh, Max Volpe, and Mr. Robeson. Third in the cast were Margie List, Melissa Milo, Norma Jean Nilsson, Charles Ladalack, Joe DeSantis, Jack Crucian, and Fritz Fell. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
There is more than one kind of mystery. In addition to the whodunits, there are the howdunnits and the whydunnits. Take the celebrated murder story of Frankie and Johnny. Everybody knows who done it, Frankie. And everybody knows why she done it, because Johnny done her wrong. But we feel that how she done it, with Miss Margaret Whiting starring as Frankie, makes a story well calculated to keep you in
suspense.
Frankie and Johnny were lovers. Oh, Lordy, how they could love. They swore to be true to each other, just as true as stars above. He was my man, but he done me wrong. Johnny. Johnny, honey. Put away that clarinet and talk to me, Johnny.
Huh?
Love me, honey?
Sure.
Johnny.
What you want now?
Talk to me, baby. That's all I want.
All right. Come here. That's what you really want, isn't it?
You're my man, Johnny.
That's right. I'm your man.
Except sometimes.
What are you talking about?
Except sometimes, Johnny, when you go away. Where do you go when you go away?
Come on now, baby. Don't start that again.
Where do you go, Johnny?
The Cuckoo's on Basin Street. You know that.
They don't give you nothing there that I can't give you here, Johnny.
What's there's a back room and a place to play my licorice stick. A place to sit and play and nobody bothers. Me and a couple of others. You know that, baby. Don't you worry.
You can play your music someplace else and get money for it. I worry about that.
Don't you start riling me, Frankie. Why don't you take yourself a walk?
The whole town of New Orleans. So many places to play your music, and you sit in the back room. You go away from me, and
I tell you something, baby. You don't like it, you can take that long walk to Georgia where you come from. You leaving?
No.
A couple of girls I used to know never bothered me about going down to Kookaloo's.
All right. I won't bother you.
That's better. Got any money, Frankie?
I got some.
I saw me a suit. Walking down Basin Street, I saw me a suit in the store window. Oh, I need me that suit, honey. I'd sure look good in it.
What's it cost, Johnny?
You want me in a cheap suit?
I didn't say that. I just asked.
$100. You got $100, baby?
I got it.
Well, that's good. That's fine.
Johnny and me, we went walking. Johnny wore his brand new suit. I paid out all of that money just to make my man look cute. You are my man, Johnny.
Show I'm your man, Frankie. Show me off, baby.
All right, honey. We walk down to Esplanade where the lights are, and everybody can see you fine. We walked real slow along Basin. The gals, they all called him by name. But I walked real close to my Johnny, 'cause I know that man's stealing game.
Frankie, honey, all this walking's tiring me out.
Well, I'm showing you off, Johnny, like you said. Showing my man off in the bright lights.
Lights just as bright at Kookaloo's, and I kind of like it where the lights are inside, anyhow.
Anywhere you want, Johnny.
Sure.
So we walked back along Basin, back up to old Kookaloo, down the steps to the cellar where Tiso played the blues.
Oh, hi, Nellie.
That's a new suit, huh?
Yeah, Frankie bought it for me.
Good, Johnny. You look real nice.
Who is that, Johnny?
Oh, just a girl. Nellie Blythe.
Pretty friendly, aren't you?
No, just polite.
She why you come down here all the time?
Frank, I told you. Don't you round me.
All right, Johnny. Don't you forget, you're my man.
Sure. Say, I need me a beer, Frankie. Get you one?
I ain't thirsty, honey.
Oh, I'm thirsty. I'm real thirsty.
All I got left is $9.
I ain't that thirsty. Just give me one of them.
All right. Here.
I'll set you down here by the piano, and you can listen to Tiso. You wait here, Frankie. I'll bring me back my beer, and I'll sit with you. Hi, Frankie. What'd you like to hear?
Just do what you're playing, Tiso. I like that fine.
Dreamy like, huh?
Yeah, I feel dreamy.
How are you and Johnny getting along, Frankie?
Like that music you're playing?
Well, I'm glad. I'm mighty glad. You ever get homesick, Frankie?
First I did. I never think about home no more.
Georgia's a real nice place. A gal can do real nice there.
I'm doing nice. I got Johnny.
Yeah?
Sure I got Johnny. He comes back to the table from the bar, you ask him.
I'll do that. When he comes back. He ain't at the bar, Frankie.
He ain't?
Not anymore, he ain't. Look for yourself.
Commander.
Yes, ma'am.
Where's Johnny?
Your name Frankie, ma'am?
Yeah. Where's Johnny?
Well, he told me to tell you something. He said he had to leave. He said don't wait up for him.
Where'd he go?
I don't know, ma'am. He didn't say that.
I ran to the street in a hurry. My Johnny was nowhere around. A gal leaning in a doorway made a soft laughing sound. Looking for you, man. Your Johnny's gone. Walk up and down all the pavement. Knock on a million locked doors. Keep on asking for my Johnny in the weeping corridor. He is my man. He can't do wrong. Guys tried to sell me some nighttime. Guys tried to kiss away my tears. Said, come along, pretty Frankie. Oh, I'll love you for years and years. Forget your man. That man's dead wrong. Dark night in between. Keep looking for my loving Johnny. Right down to old Dauphine. For he's my man. He can't do wrong. I turned into a dark alley. Close by that Jelly's gin mill. Hello, Miss Willie.
Good evening.
I haven't noticed.
Oh, it's a real pretty evening, Frank. You out strolling all alone?
I guess I am.
Come on inside. We'll have us a chat.
No, I'm going to walk some more.
We'll have us some beer.
No, thanks, Miss Willie.
We'll have us some whiskey, Frankie.
No, I got to walk some more.
I got something to tell you, Frankie.
What?
Well, I sit here all day long. All night long, too. I never sleep. I see all sorts of things. All sorts of people.
You see Johnny come by here, Miss Willie?
Yeah, Johnny. He sure is a good-looking boy. Black hair plastered down like that. My. The way he walks.
You notice the way he walks, huh? People step back and let him come past the way he walks. My Johnny. See him come by here lately?
I seen a gal come by here lately.
Alone?
Not this gal. Ain't a night for a gal to be alone. Real pretty gal.
Who was she with, Miss Willie?
Had gold hair and red lips. Her name was Nellie Bly.
Nellie Bly? He said hello to a gal named Nellie over Cucaloos.
He wasn't saying goodbye when they passed here.
Where'd they go?
Show off his new suit, I guess.
Where'd they go?
Down the street. Down that way, Frankie.
Down to Jellycake's place?
I think I saw them going to Jellycake's. I ain't sure now, but I think they did. Where you going, Frankie? Jellycake's the other way.
I'm going to find me a pawn shop.
Why, Frankie?
I got to buy me something.
What?
Got to buy me a gun.
In a moment, we continue with Suspense.
Somebody once said, tomorrow is the today we talked about yesterday, which is another way of saying, don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. And one of the smartest things you can do today is enroll for a USAFI course. USAFI offers more than 340 courses to choose from and several ways to study them. So it will pay you to start planning for your future now. If you expect to leave the service soon, don't let that worry you. Provisions have been made for service personnel who are discharged while they're taking a USAFI course. If you're studying a correspondence course, you're allowed 9 months from the day of your discharge to complete your USAFI studies, providing you submitted at least one lesson while you were in the service. If you're taking a self-teaching course, you're also given 9 months to complete it after your discharge. And if you're taking a course through a college or university, USAFI allows you a full year after discharge to complete the course. So whether you're a 30-year man or not, take advantage of a good deal and enroll with USAFI now. For a uniform education, study with USAFI.
And now, we continue with Frankie and Johnny, starring Miss Margaret Whiting. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Because there'll be some more where that come from after a little refreshment.
Jelly cake.
Oh, hiya, Miss Frankie.
Can I talk to you a minute, Jelly cake?
Sure can. Sit down here. You like a little something to drink?
No, thanks. Has Johnny been in here?
You been here.
With the girl?
Mm-hmm.
What'd they do here?
They're sitting over there. Then they got up and danced for a while. A couple of times when we played them soft. But mostly they just sat.
He kissed her?
You oughtn't ask me things like that, Miss Frankie.
I want to know what he did.
Well, there was a little fight while he was in here. Wasn't very much of a fight. He just hit a man, that's all.
Johnny never hit a man on account of me.
Oh, no, wasn't that, Miss Frankie? Some man walked by and spilled a little gin on Johnny's new suit. It was an accident. The man didn't mean nothing, but Johnny hit him. Said the man ruined his suit. Johnny might have killed that man, except for the lady. He called Nellie. She fixed it.
Fixed it? How?
Took Johnny out of here for a little while. Then they come back. Johnny was smiling. Johnny was smiling and leaning close to this girl and telling her things. Then she'd be smiling, too, and laying her head up against Johnny's new yellow suit.
Yellow suit? Well, I didn't buy him a yellow suit.
That's the kind of suit he's wearing when he come back in here, Miss Frankie. Soft kind of yellow. Not the kind that screams at you. Whispery kind of yellow.
The one I bought him cost $100.
Oh, you couldn't buy that yellow suit for no $100. This was 5 pearl buttons on the coat, and the vest was silk, and there was a big gold chain across the front. Oh, that Johnny lighted up the place with a soft, pretty light.
I'd have bought him a suit like that if he'd asked me to. I'd have bought him anything he wanted.
You, never bought him no diamonds, did you?
Diamonds?
Yeah, like the one he's wearing on his little finger. Miss Frankie, that was the biggest diamond in the whole world. The brightest one, too. That Johnny ain't never gonna need a light to find his way around. Not with that diamond on his little finger.
I guess Nellie bought him that, too.
And the patent leather shoes. And the king. I guess she likes him real well. Guess that Johnny got himself a woman.
Where'd they go, Jelly Cake?
Out of here. Some time ago. Must have been an hour.
Where?
He gave me $1 to play him a tune. He called me a tune and said, play it before I take my loving Nellie home.
You know where she lives?
Yeah, there where Ursuline crosses Charteris, Miss Frankie. 3rd house down, left side.
Thanks, Jelly Cake.
What you gonna do?
You know what I'm gonna do.
You gonna kill it? Well, night, Miss Frankie.
You my man, Johnny?
All yours, Nellie. You my woman.
I ain't nobody else's. Oh, you gonna like it in Memphis, Johnny.
I'm gonna like it fine so long as you're there.
By and by after Memphis. St. Louis. I can make out fine in St. Louis.
I know you can.
You ever been upriver, Johnny?
No further than that.
Oh, you're gonna like it. You're gonna like it fine.
Hey, we're gonna miss that morning boat lesson. You get on with your packing.
Yeah, always something gotta spoil the fun.
I'll get it, honey.
Here's the clarinet you sent me over to your place for, Johnny.
Oh, yeah. Anybody there?
No.
That's good. Thanks.
Sure, Johnny.
Come on, Nellie, baby. Get along with that packing. I aim to play me some music before the boat pulls out in the morning.
That man took all of my money. That man took all of my love. He left me so sad and so lonely. My heart's a broken winged dove. He is my man, but he's doing me wrong. Got a big rock on his finger, bright yellow suit on his back, making love to that Nellie Bly. So driver, roll this hat. Gonna kill that man.
What'd you say, lady?
Gonna kill that man. Turn here. 3 houses down and stop.
I guess you want to go someplace after you leave here, lady. You want me to wait?
You can wait.
What do you want?
Where's Johnny?
I don't know what you're talking about, lady.
Nellie Bly live here?
She's gone, lady. She ain't never coming back.
A man with her? Wearing a yellow suit and a golden chain and a diamond ring?
Name's Johnny, huh? A gent. A real gent. He's gone, too. He's gone with Nellie Bly.
They talk about where they were going?
They talk about Memphis, St. Louis, about riding the riverboat come morning. That Johnny was a real sport. Made a $5 bill right here where my hand is.
I only got $2.
Right here where my hand is. Thank you kindly.
What did he buy for $5, mister?
What I'm going to sell you for $2. Johnny sent me to his place to pick up something.
You're lying. Johnny ain't got nothing except what's on his back.
Got a clarinet. That's what he told me to get, that's all. What do you want Johnny for?
I got something to give him, too.
What's that?
A gun.
You find him, lady?
I know where he is. I know for sure where he is.
Yeah, is that where we're going?
To Kookaloo's.
Oh, on Basin Street.
That's right.
Yeah, I know where that is. It won't take long.
Cabby.
Yeah, lady.
I got no more money.
Oh.
I can't pay you for this ride, Cabby.
You weren't kidding, were you, about what you said before?
About what?
About killing a man.
I wasn't kidding. I'm going to kill him.
This ride won't cost you nothing. I wish I had me a gal like you. Love me so much you'd kill for me. I wouldn't do a gal like that no wrong.
Where you think you're going, Frankie? Get out of my way, Nellie Bly. You can't go in that back room. Johnny won't even let me go in there, so he ain't going to let you. I got no argument with you, so get out of my way.
You got an argument with my sweet man. You got an argument with me.
You want to go to Memphis, Nellie?
I'm going.
You want to go to St. Louis?
I'm going there, too.
Maybe you're going, and I ain't going to stop you. You're going to find another sweet man to go with. Not Johnny.
Honey, he don't love you no more. He's tired of you. You told me. Told me lots of things. Told me about my gold hair and my red lips. Told me...
You ain't going with Johnny, so get out of here, Nellie. Go on. Get out.
Well, you hold that gun, I guess I'd better.
Get on that riverboat and never come back. Here?
Yeah. Yeah, here.
Shame to kill him, Miss Frankie. He ain't much of a guy, but Johnny plays a lot of clarinet.
Get out, Chizo.
You oughtn't to kill him, Frankie.
When you leave here, mister, close the door. Johnny. Goodbye, Johnny. Oh, Johnny. Johnny.
Roll him over easy, boy.
Roll him over slow.
Hey, what's going on in here?
He got shot, officer. He's dead.
You do it, Frankie?
I did it.
Then I gotta take you down to the jailhouse, Frankie. I brought you a chair to stand on, Frankie, in case you want to look out the jail window while he's passing by. You want to look? Climb on up and look, Frankie. What do you see?
I see a long black coffin. There's people in funeral clothes. Johnny's gone and cashed his checks. To the graveyard, my Johnny goes. There goes that rubber-tired carriage. There goes that rubber-tired hack. 12 men going to the graveyard, and 11 coming back. Johnny was my man, but he done me wrong. This story has no moral. Now this story has no end. This story only goes to show that there ain't no good in men. They'll do you wrong. Just as sure as you're born.
Suspense, in which Miss Margaret Whiting starred in Frankie and Johnny, produced and directed by William N. Robeson. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Frankie and Johnny was adapted from the folk song by David Friedkin and Mort Fine. Music by Leith Stevens. The part of Johnny was played by Shepard Menken. Also heard in the cast were Shirley Mitchell, Amanda Randolph, Roy Glenn, Joe DeSantis, Jay Novello, Corny Anderson, and Dawes Butler.
Suspense is another worldwide presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, William N. Robeson.
Considering the bad time the Spanish conquistador Pizarro gave the Incas of Peru some 400 years ago, you can hardly blame them for leaving a few booby traps scattered around the Andes. And while you may not consider the rainforests of the headwaters of the Amazon an exactly appropriate place for a honeymoon, you must agree that it is people with such wacky ideas who are apt to live dangerously. And dangerously they do live in Door of Gold, starring Myron McCormick, a tale well calculated to keep you in
suspense.
The Peruvian jungle is no place for a woman. But Janice insisted she was an archaeologist first and my bride second. It was rugged. In addition to the snakes, bugs, and mildew, there were the unfriendly Quechua Indians, each of whom claimed to be a direct descendant of the Inca, of Manco Capac himself. It had been slow going. We excavated burial mound after burial mound and found nothing. Perhaps they were right. Maybe my translations were wrong and the Puerto de Oro was only a legend. We had only one native guide, a sullen Indian named Juan. So everyone worked. Dr. Clayton, myself, even Janice. Inside the mound that morning, I could hear old Dr. Clayton and Janice chipping away. Suddenly, Janice shouted. What have you... Finally. The Puerto de Oro.
Congratulations, Philip. You were right. Professor Wellman's translation was in error. Well, it's bound to make you famous, old boy. You realize that?
Oh, Phil, I'm so very pleased for you. They'll have to listen to you now.
I say, look. Even Juan is impressed.
Si, senor. For many lifetimes, my people have. Este muy magnífico. Es el Puerto de Oro.
This burial mound was built against the mountainside. Like all ancient Inca structures, a marvel of shaped stone and grooved rock, fitted so neatly no mortar was required. We had torn down a section of the wall facing the mountain until the door was revealed. A door that glittered dully after Janice used chemicals to dissolve the corrosion. There was no mistaking it. Embossed on the metal was a rising sun, its rays throwing streamers of pure gold across the panel.
Is there anything in the inscription that would indicate how to open it?
Well, let's see. It says, light to the seeker comes through the shafts of God.
Well, that makes everything clear.
Oh, patience, child. Your impressions, Philip?
Well, you see where the sun slants through the cracks in the stones up there? See?
Yes.
Well, it hits the wall in two places.
I say. So they're the shafts of God. They're God.
Correct. Now, you take one, I'll try the other.
What should we try?
Well, I'd say press in on the stones where the light hits. Most of the hidden doors are counterbalanced.
That's it! You got it! It's moving into the side!
A chill crept along my spine. The religious chanting of the college-educated Juan, the scratch of stone on stone, and the musty odor that crept forth from the now-open tunnel raised the short hairs on the back of my neck. It was silly, I guess. The early sun streamed across the bare floor, but from that dank opening came the odor of death.
Smells pretty bad.
Oh, that child is inexperienced talking. The mere fact they're getting the odor means that there's circulation in there.
Well, how shall we handle the search inside?
Well, Dr. Clayton, if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to...
Oh, no, not really. I'll go in later. You and the child go. Honeymoon trip, cool darkness, young bride. Sounds romantic.
With that smell, I don't think I could raise a pucker.
You wish Juan to go, senor?
Well, if you don't mind, no. If anything happens, a pivot or a counterbalance stone or something closes the door, we'll need both of you out here to get it open again.
See. We shall wait.
We quickly gathered the necessary equipment. I bolted on 2 flashlights, the 4-battery type, and filled my side pack with spare batteries. Sidearms, medicine kit, sandwiches, water, of course. Finally, a rope. When we were tied together, I gave Janice the long bamboo probe.
Janice had better go in first, don't you think, old boy?
Yes, I think she should. Now, listen carefully, Janice. Yes. Both of our lives may depend on it. Walk lightly. Place your feet carefully and test each slab before stepping on them.
Oh, now, gentlemen, please. I may just be out of college, but I have studied their culture. I know all about the flip-flop stones.
Very true, youngster. It is different in the classroom. There you can laugh at a mistake.
The most important thing is to remember if I should go through somewhere, you can't hold me unless you drop flat.
Okay. Let's go before I lose my nerve completely.
Juan.
Okay, senor.
I brought up the rifles so you and Dr. Clayton can keep an eye out for unfriendly natives. If anything should happen, fire 2 shots.
Si. Vaya con Dios, senor y señora.
Go with which God, Juan?
Oh, the Christian one, senora. The sun god. He would not like it.
We moved slowly down into the slanted passageway. Nervously, Janice stabbed at each of the fitted blocks with a long probe, while I mapped them, numbering them on our chart. The corridor slanted upward again, and the entrance was gone. We were alone. Suddenly, block 87 swung from under her, and she dropped through. Janice! You all right?
I don't know.
Can you reach your flash?
I think... Yes, I've got it.
What's down there?
It's not too deep. Maybe 30 feet.
Okay, hold tight. I'll pull you up. There you are. See, Daisy?
Oh, we're lucky that pivot stone didn't close. Oh, Phil, hold me close. That's better.
Darling. Just think what this means. We'll make Professor Holloway and that entire bunch at the university crawl when we get back. No money, no official recognition, and all those so-called scholars peering down their noses at us. You wait. It'll be a pleasure to make them eat their words.
Yes, darling. Meanwhile, will you please mark that darned 87 block red?
We went on, skirting the still tilted lip of the pivot stone and inching forward. Twice more, we located swinging traps, the second over a swiftly moving stream. That was why the air was relatively good. Suddenly, Janice stopped, yanking on our connecting rope.
Phil, I don't like the feel of this block.
What's the matter?
It's no pivot, but it's not solid. It feels like it wants to give downward. Counterbalance, maybe?
Don't put a weight on it. Let's work around it and see what's beyond.
Why, is that a door?
Yeah, some kind. That may be what Block 590 controls. You game?
To try it? Sure.
We went back to block number 590 on the chart. Janice lay flat, and I stepped gingerly on it. Sank about a foot, then the hollow thunder reached us. The pressure caught us a moment later.
Phil, what was that?
Afraid to think. Put your hand down near the tunnel floor. Feel anything?
No. Why? Should I?
No, I'm afraid not. We've lost our air circulation.
Oh, Phil.
Probably means 590 closed the main entrance.
Maybe Juan and Dr. Clayton will open it in a minute.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we're going a bit. Perhaps that second panel opened at the same time.
Don't you think we ought to go back?
Why? We can't open it from the inside. They'll either get it open or they won't. We crept along silently until we reached the second door. It had not moved. Remembering the entrance, we fumbled with the stones on either side, but they didn't work. We found the combination by accident. None of the stones helped, but when we moved to either end of our rope, preparing to go back, both blocks moved downward slightly, and it opened.
Oh, Phil.
They can't hurt you. They've been sitting there for over 400 years.
You mean they were trapped here? In their own hidden passage?
No, it was the bidding of their sun god. They sat there until it no longer mattered.
How awful.
Yeah, in one way. Yet in another, rather magnificent. When Pizarro raided their city in the sky, what gold they had not thrown in Lake Titicaca was brought down into this tunnel. They stayed to guard it.
Phil, put your arms around me until I stop shaking.
I managed to soothe her jangled nerves, but there was no one to calm mine. Where was the confounded air circulation? The minute the outer door opened, we would feel it. Surely if Juan wasn't tall enough, Clayton could rig something for him to stand on, or was there something else? We made quick work of it going back. Using the other flash in the chart, we hurried along the tunnel, carefully avoiding the marked traps, until we made the last dip and reached the golden door. It was still closed.
Dr. Clayton! Dr. Clayton, open the door!
Hold your strength. That door is 2 feet thick. Clayton! We're back. Can you get it open?
Oh, Dr. Clayton! Can you hear us?
Si, senora. Juan is here.
Juan! Where's Dr. Clayton? The two of you can get this open.
Very sad, senor. The good doctor, he has had an accident.
An accident? What kind of a... Well, never mind now. Go get help. Open door. You hear?
Si, Juan is here, but he cannot do this.
Cannot? What do you mean?
From nowhere, the sun god closed door. You, his guest, he would not like if you leave. Juan, stop Dr. Clayton from sacrilege.
Please!
Juan! What's that noise? What are you doing?
Sun God, not one passage found. Juan was revealed world.
What are we going to do? How can we get out?
Losing our heads won't help. We might... What's the altitude of this burial mound?
I don't remember. Wait a minute. Dr. Clayton marked it yesterday. About 3,600 feet above sea level. Why?
Now, think a minute. My translation said the Puerto de Oro would be here.
Yes.
It was. That means this tunnel must be the one which leads up to Machu Picchu. So, if Clayton's figures are nearly correct, it's about a mile west and 3 miles straight up inside the mountain.
Oh, that's a welcome idea. I thought maybe...
I know. Come here. Honey, we mustn't ever give up. We're both trained. We studied the ancient Incas. And if anybody can outwit them, we can.
Thank you, darling. I'm all right now. Let's go.
We went back into the now familiar part of the tunnel, counting blocks and squeezing past the dangerous ones. When we reached the second doorway, we stopped.
Poor devil. They don't look so frightening the second time, all huddled over their belongings.
Janice, what's wrong with you?
Now, look here.
Pardon me, old man. There. Does that look like personal belongings to you?
Good heavens. I forgot. Is all of that gold?
Pure gold. What you're staring at is the ransom of the Inca sun god. Pizarro murdered him, so the Incas hid the gold here to prevent the Spanish from finding it.
Why, there must be millions.
Yeah. Even at the tiny percentage that would be allowed us by the Peruvian government, this would make us wealthy for life.
Would?
Okay. Will. That better? It was hard to keep the note of doubt from creeping into my voice. The gold had been here 4 centuries. Why? Well, it didn't make sense unless... There was no trouble with traps the next half mile until...
Bill, another door. Seems bigger.
Let's try the same positions as before. It might work.
It's moving. There's me stiff when I start to drop that way.
Keep your eyes open. We're getting tired. We're getting to be sloppy.
What's that? Down there ahead. Oh, Bill, I'm sorry. Counterbalance.
Oh, what's the difference? May as well have that one closed, too. I doubt if we'll be back. Up, 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 until it seemed as if our legs must drop off. And then, suddenly I heard Janice slump to the steps ahead. Janice! Janice, you all right?
I guess so. There's another door. Use the light.
Yeah, sure, honey. Now rest yourself. Oh, no.
What's wrong?
It was all there, right in Almagra's diary. All I had to do was read simple Spanish. Oh, no, I've got to be clever and find the Puerto de Oro anyway.
Hell, that isn't a door?
No, it's not. In the diary, Diego Almagra wrote, "Their gods were angry and the mountain shook." Look, you see that step? It's sheared right in half.
Earthquake.
Right. When the quake struck, it shifted the other half of the tunnel. Maybe 200 or 300 feet one way or another. This is a dead end.
Oh, no. It can't be. You're trying to frighten me. Bill, don't kill her around. Open it, please. Please, Bill.
Stop that. You hear me? Stop it. Right now. Going to pieces won't help. I hated to slap her, but I had to. And she understood. She didn't say a word. She just turned and went slowly back down. It seemed hours before we reached the bottom of the stairs. Well, the air was much better. Minor consolation. So we would die of thirst and hunger instead of suffocation. We came up against the first of the closed doors. And it wasn't that easy. We tried combination after combination. Then, just as we were ready to drop from exhaustion, we happened to move back from the door, she on the 3rd block and I on the 6th. Instantly, there was that sinking sensation, and the door moved toward us and disappeared flush into the wall.
Oh, come on, Phil, move. If it works on the next door, it might work.
Yes, I know what it might, but we'll take it easy. Charge or no charge, it's dangerous to rush.
Oh, don't be silly.
I felt sick. There was no tension on the rope. The revolving pivot stone had cut it easily. I scrambled to the pivot stone and lay at arm's length while I tried to move it. No dice. Nervously, I felt for the flash and pressed the button. Nothing happened. Again, I tried, and cut my finger as I found the reason. The lens and bulb were smashed. I fumbled for the other flash. It, too, had broken. I was alone in the darkness. Must think. Pressure. Yeah, that was it. Pressure. The third block back needed weight. I crawled to the nearest skeletons and dragged them aside, digging for the sacks of gold beneath. I crawled slowly, tugging some of the heavy ingots with me. Finally, I had a pile of them on the block where I had been standing. I crawled back to the pivot stone. This time it moved. Janet! Janet, can you hear me?
Bill! Thank heaven! Turn the flash down here and let me see.
Can broke when I tried to stop your fall. Both of them. Are you hurt?
I don't think so. I landed on a bunch of old sand.
Is it deep?
I don't think so.
Janet, what's wrong?
Don't know. It had eyes. It's gone. Can you get the rope down to me?
Can you estimate how far?
Wait. I've got the match, Tim. Wait. There. Can you see me all right?
Yeah. Now, you're lucky. There's quite a pile of them. I'd say 15 feet. Stay still. I'll rig something. I took the remainder of the cord, fortunately about 9 feet, and tied my belt to it. I added my shirt to the upper end and lowered it through the half-moon opening. Janice, light another match. Okay. Now here. Can you reach that?
Yes. I've got it.
Easy. I've got my shirt on this end. Just take your end and square knot the two.
I can't. Oh, darn. No. There. It's together. Are you ready?
Don't try to help. I want to get hold of the belt before I really pull. Easy. That pivot's standing straight up. Don't touch it. You might not be so lucky a second time.
Yeah. Let me just hold you for a second.
I'll teach you to run in tunnels. Well, come on now. And cross everything. We've still got a chance. That's all it was. A chance. We edged down the tunnel in the dark, staying close together now since the rope was gone. We tested everything carefully. Then found the second door. It was a thrill to stand on the third and sixth blocks and feel them move. I used one of the precious matches to refresh our minds from the chart. Then we began to count backward, walking hand in hand.
15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. This is awful. 8, 7. Oh, Bill, 6.
Hold it. I'll stay here and pray. You go to 3.
Here goes nothing.
It's opening. Come on.
Juan had rebuilt the wall. But we found no trouble knocking the stones down from inside. At last we were free. Blackness had long settled on the jungle. It was dark in the mound, but to us it was bright. I saw Janice on her knees beside Dr. Clinton.
He's dead.
I'm not surprised.
Bill, what's that?
Come on, run! Run! Get out of here!
I told Dr. Clayton only yesterday that overhang was dangerous.
No, that was man-made. You see up there? That's Juan, hiding the sun god's horn. And murder.
We didn't even get a little smidgen of gold. With Dr. Clayton gone, I'll never believe your discovery.
Forget it. Let them keep on believing Wellman's translations. Me for Cusco and home. Coming?
Try and stop me.
Suspense, in which Myron McCormick starred in William N. Robeson's production of Door of Gold by E. Scott Floor. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Supporting Mr. McCormick in Door of Gold were Shirley Mitchell as Janice, Jay Novello as Juan, and Ramsey Hill as Dr. Clayton. Original musical score composed and conducted by Amerigo Marino. You'd think that jewelry worth $100,000 would shine through a concrete wall. But later on today, when yours truly, Johnny Dollar, tries to locate a boodle of missing gems, the sparklers seem to be lost in darkness. Johnny Dollar, however, is an insurance investigator. For all that his work is adventuresome, he has to work for a living like anybody else. And where those missing gems are concerned, he cannot take no for an answer. For thrill-a-minute listening, follow him to the end of the Templeton Matter, when the next thrill-packed episode of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, comes your way over most of these same stations a little later on in the day today. Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
Among the many misconceptions under which we live and have our being is the one that states that there is no such thing as the perfect crime. The open files of unsolved murders in every police department across the land give the lie to this proposition. However, it is true that the criminal more often than not slips up on the tiniest of details and ends up alone in a tiny room with a tiny gas pellet dropping into a tiny pan of water under his chair. We wonder if you can spot the detail Dort Sharples overlooked as you listen to Mr. Glenn Ford starring in Murder and Aunt Dehlia, a tale well calculated to keep you in
Ever stick out your thumb and pull in $1 million plum? Well, I'm the little Jack Horner that did it. Only my name isn't Horner. It's Dort Sharples. I was hitchhiking along Highway 70 across the Arizona desert heading for L.A. It was August and I was hot. Oh, man, it was hot. It was so hot the lizards were fanning themselves. There wasn't much traffic. Nobody would stop. I'd walked about 8 miles outside a little burg called Quartzsite, and I was tired. I was tired and sore. Finally, a black sedan come along. I was all set to holler cuss words at it for not stopping when suddenly this guy slows down. It was a young guy, about my age. He was alone. Hop in. Oh, thanks. I sure appreciate this.
It's all right. I could use some company.
Yeah. You know, for a second there, I didn't think you were going to stop.
I wasn't, frankly.
Yeah, guy has to be careful nowadays.
You know what changed my mind? Maybe you won't like this, but it suddenly struck me that you look like me.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'd do it that now that you mention it.
What if that was me walking along, I thought? Besides, if you got a face like mine, it must be an honest face.
Hey, maybe you got something there.
You going to Blythe?
What's that?
The next town, across the Colorado.
Oh, no, I'm going clear into L.A.
I happen to be going through L.A. on my way to Santa Barbara. If you want to spell me at the wheel, we can make Los Angeles by a little after midnight.
Brother, you got yourself a co-pilot. By the time we crossed the river into California, I learned the guy's name was John Braley, and that he was going to visit his invalid aunt. Now, this aunt didn't own all of Santa Barbara, not quite. And the guy didn't volunteer this information. I had to kind of probe it out of him. Between Blythe and Desert Center, an idea began to percolate. And not just from the heat, either. Say, I bet your aunt's going to be awfully glad to see you, Braley. Say, how long did you say it had been?
I was 10 when I left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would make it 17 years. You see, my mother died when I was 3, and Aunt Dehlia took me in.
Does she know you're coming?
Yeah, I sent her a wire.
Oh, yeah, good. You think she'll recognize you?
I doubt it. The reason I'm going back, her husband died about a month ago.
That'd be your uncle, huh?
Uncle by marriage. I never thought of him as an uncle. My aunt married him when I was 9. He and I never got along. That's why I left Aunt Delia's place.
You mean you ran away?
No, another aunt in Delaware took me. For a while, Dehlia and I wrote to each other, but her husband made her quit.
He sounds like a first-rate heel.
Yeah, I always thought so. Anyway, what with school and then the Army and getting a job afterwards, why, I just lost track of Aunt Dehlia.
You got a lot of relatives in the East?
No. My other aunt died when I was 21. Delia's the only relative I got left.
I guess that means you'll be coming into something pretty good someday, huh?
I suppose so. This may sound funny, but the idea sort of scares me.
Yeah. I wish somebody'd scare me like that. I kept pumping him until I could have written his autobiography. Yes, I mean autobiography. I stored away facts about his uncle. He hated how Braley used to like to draw pictures when he was a kid, how he got his only spanking when he was 8 for spilling ink on his aunt's favorite tapestry, how he wouldn't eat peas, got sick on enchiladas at the Santa Barbara Fiesta in 1935. Everything. Could I remember? Man, you know what people used to say? They used to say to me, you know, with your memory, boy, you could be a good lawyer. You know, but that takes work. Now, just east of Indio, before Highway 70 runs into 99, I figured I was thoroughly briefed.
You want me to drive a Wild Sharples?
No, thanks. It's okay. Unless you want to take over.
No. Technically, maybe I shouldn't be driving at all. No, I've got one of those mail-order driver's licenses, but I doubt if I could pass the California test. You see...
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, you notice something funny?
No, what?
I think we're getting a flat.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sure. This car kind of rides funny. You feel it? You know what I think it is? I think it's the right rear tire there.
This would have to happen clear out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you said it. I tell you, maybe we better stop and take a look, huh?
I don't even know if the spare's any good.
Look, I may be imagining things. I don't know, but we better make sure. I'll check it. Just a minute.
There's not a soul in sight either way.
Now, well, we won't need any help.
Well, I hope not. How is it?
Maybe you better come back here.
Okay. I'm sure glad I've got you along. I'm not much good. Oh, come to think of it, there may not be any tools in the car. I bought this car in a hurry off a used car lot.
Well, I've got all the tools I need, Braley.
It doesn't look flat to me.
No? Come here. Lean down here and take a look, huh?
It still doesn't seem.
I was right about the tools, wasn't I, Braley? I put the blackjack back in my pocket and dragged Braley off the highway. I put him in a ditch. I made sure he was dead. Then I changed clothes with him and covered his body with sand and brush and all of the stuff that was laying around. I was back in the sedan on my way. Still no other car was in sight. I adjusted the rear view mirror so I could see my reflection. I watched my lips move as my voice said, Dort Sharples? Never heard of him. My name is John Braley. I pulled into L.A. about 2 a.m. I waited around till morning, though, before I went to Rena's apartment. I wanted her to be real wide awake when I told her my idea.
But, Dort, it sounds crazy and dangerous.
For $1 million, we can afford to be crazy.
But suppose somebody finds out you aren't this guy, Braley.
Look, who will know? Huh? Who's going to know? His aunt hasn't seen him since he was a kid. There's no other relatives, no connections on the coast. None back east either.
Are you sure you can carry it off, Dort?
Look, Rena, will you listen to me a minute? I know everything about that guy. I even know when he lost his first baby tooth.
But what do you want me to do?
I'm going to tell you. You just stay where I can get in touch with you, do you hear? You be ready to come up to Santa Barbara.
How long will you have to wait to come into this money? The old lady may live for years.
No, I don't think so. She's pretty well along. She's an invalid. You know, a lot of things can happen to an old lady.
Well...
No wells about it. It's a real break. Now, I might have done it alone. I could have done it alone. But I thought of you, kid.
Real sweet of you, Dort. Real sweet.
Yeah, sure. And we're partners, huh?
Yes, Dort.
Great. Now, look, kid, listen, one thing very important. You lay off that Dort stuff from now on, huh? From now on, you call me John Braley.
Kiss me, John.
Well, it didn't take me long to cover the 100 miles to Santa Barbara. The reunion with Aunt Dehlia was, well, it was quite touching. Yeah, I sat on a little low stool, right in front of her, right by her wheelchair, drinking tea that the housekeeper, this Mrs. Parker, she kept pouring it, so... And we talked over old times.
Oh, Johnny, it's so good to have you home again.
Johnny. Nobody but you ever called me that. You remember the kids used to call me Jack or Curly most of the time?
Oh, and how angry you used to get. You hated to be called Curly.
Yeah, and when I got into a fight about it that time, remember with Pudge Martin? Mm-hmm. You sent me to bed without any supper, and you took away my paints and my crayons for a whole week.
Well, not for a whole week,
Oh,
Johnny.
yes,
I relented on Sunday afternoon.
Well, it seemed like a week.
Oh, you did love to draw. I saved some of your drawings. I was looking at them only the other day, and... Oh, that must be Mr. Crittenden.
Crittenden?
Yes, my attorney. He's been just wonderful to me since your uncle died. Handles all of my affairs. I've asked him to come up to meet you.
Oh?
Well, I hope you don't mind.
No.
That's all right, Mrs. Parker. Don't bother.
Come right in, Bryce.
Hello, dear.
Bryce.
My, you look positively radiant. Well. Is this the prodigal nephew?
Yes. Bryce, this is Johnny. Or should I say, Mr. Crittenden... my nephew, John Brady.
How do you do?
How do you do? So this is John. My boy, let me warn you that I know every infamous detail of your crime-ridden career. Mm-hmm. That is, up until the time you were 10 years old.
Now, Brian.
Now, well, I'm afraid, Andy, that Mr. Crittenden has an ipso facto case against me. I offer this tapestry. That's going to be Exhibit A. Take a look.
What do you mean?
Well, if you examine it real closely, you will see traces of a stain. Now, Auntie, isn't this where I spilled ink in, now, let me think here. Wasn't it 1935?
Why, Johnny, do you still remember that?
I certainly do. And you spanked me with a hairbrush.
The accused has paid his debt to society. Case dismissed.
No, Johnny, that stain is worth more to me than the tapestry itself.
Oh, now, come on.
I think she means it, John. Your arrival has already made her look 10 years younger.
Oh, how absolutely absurd.
In fact, I think you could get up out of that chair this minute and trounce me soundly in a game of tennis.
There wasn't any doubt about it. I was in. And Delia's health improved so rapidly, I realized I'd have to think of a way to... I had to kind of speed things up. That meant I had to get Mrs. Parker, the housekeeper, out of the house for good. So I began devising little things to make her appear inefficient. Now, Auntie wasn't supposed to have spices, so I sneaked into the kitchen and I doctored the food with some pepper. After Mrs. Parker set the heating unit for the night, I got up and I turned it off. Auntie woke up freezing. And Mrs. Parker became so confused and upset that she began helping me out by forgetting things and making mistakes all on her own.
Johnny, I know Mrs. Parker means well, but, well, as Dr. Davis says, I've got to have someone I can depend on at all times.
Yeah? Well, I haven't liked to say anything, but after all, she's been with you for a long time. But, well, the poor old soul, I think she does need a rest.
Oh, dear, it's going to be so difficult to tell her.
No, I'll attend to that, Auntie. And I'll see about getting another housekeeper. An intelligent, capable, younger woman.
Hello?
Rena, this is me.
Who?
You know, Mr. Braley.
Oh, yes. How are you, Mr. Brady?
I'm great. Now, listen, kid. I'm calling from Santa Barbara. I'll get up here right away. Check in at the San Martin Hotel as Rena Derwin. And you wait there till I call you. We're in, baby. But good.
Listening to William N. Robeson's production of Murder and Aunt Dehlia, starring Mr. Glenn Ford. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
By the time Rena arrived in Santa Barbara, I'd fixed up a set of references of her ability and character that would have flattered Florence Nightingale and Susan B. Anthony. Well, Rena came out for an interview, pretending she was sent by an employment agency I was supposed to have called. Oh, she made a terrific impression on the old lady. At a nod from me, Auntie hired Rena on the spot, and Mrs. Parker left with a cardboard suitcase, amongst pay, red eyes, and the sniffles. Well, after she got Auntie to bed that first night, Rena and I met on the veranda.
How did I do, George?
The name.
Nobody's around here.
Look, just don't take any chances. Now, you call me Mr. Braley all the time.
All right, Mr. Braley. How did I do?
Perfect. Now, come on, let's take a walk over by the bluff there away from the house. Huh?
This is sure some layout. Looks great in the moonlight.
Yeah, they'll all be ours, baby.
Yeah. How are you going to do it?
Do what?
You know.
Mm-hmm. Now, right up there ahead is a cliff. You see it? There it is. Now, that's a 200-foot drop under those rocks down there.
You're going to push her off the cliff?
No, nothing as brutal as that. No, it's an accident, you see. You take Aunt Dehlia for an airing in her wheelchair, and as you're pushing the chair, you trip, and you fall. The chair starts rolling, you run after her, but poor Auntie goes over the edge. And you're hysterical with shock, of course.
Yeah, I am. I don't know. What's wrong with you taking Auntie for an airing?
Look, if I could do it, what would be the point of you being here at all? You're just an employee, a brand new one, and you've got no reason on earth to kill her for her dough, but... I mean, they just might get that idea if I was wheeling her.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, and that's why it's important for us not to have very much to do with each other.
That's going to be difficult, George. Mr. Braley. No one can see us now, honey.
Oh, baby, can't you wait?
No.
Honey.
Just one kiss, please.
The next afternoon, Auntie and I were in the library. I was trying to look interested in the scrapbook she was pawing through. I hoped she wouldn't notice how fidgety I was.
My eyes are so weak now, Johnny, but I know every detail of these just from memory. Oh, here you are on your first tricycle.
Well, I'll be darned. Was I ever that small?
It doesn't seem possible, does it? Oh, here's what I was looking for. The cow you drew when you were 9. Oh, you were quite the artist.
Yeah. Hey, this is great. I was what do you call it, surrealist? I colored it green. Look at that. A green cow on purple grass.
Well, it certainly caused a sensation at your school.
There's a wonder I wasn't expecting.
Oh, Johnny. Oh, I've always been just sick about this picture. One of the few of you and me together. You broke away from it just as the photographer took it.
Yeah, just a blur. What's the cat doing in it?
But don't you remember? That's Xerxes.
What?
Oh, you remember?
Oh, sure. Old Xerxes the Persian. Yeah. Oh, gee, the fun he and I used to have together. Of course, I used to tease him a lot when you weren't looking. Yeah, but he sure was a nice, What's the matter, Auntie?
Johnny, are you trying to fool your old auntie?
What do you mean?
Well, you were frightened plumb out of your wits by cats. If Xerxes so much as brushed up against you, you'd scream bloody murder. That's why you jumped when the picture was taken.
I did? I did. Yeah, didn't I? Yeah.
You remember? Dr. Thompson said it was a deep-seated phobia, and you'd probably have it all your life, like Napoleon. Did it ever go away, Johnny, this fear of cats?
Well, yeah, it went. I mean, most of it went away. After all, he doesn't like to remember what a coward he was when he was a kid. Maybe she was satisfied with that explanation. But I thought she watched me a lot closer after that with her dim old eyes. Rena and I couldn't put it off much longer. I might pull a real boner. That night, Rena and I set it up. I said, tomorrow, right after breakfast.
Oh. You'll come with me, won't you?
Honey, it's better if I'm not around.
You don't have to be right there. Just be where I can see you. I couldn't do it all alone. I don't know if I...
All right. Just don't lose your nerve, kid. That's all. Just don't lose your nerve, huh? I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning after breakfast, Rena and I got the old lady into her wheelchair. Well, there you are, Auntie.
Thank you, Johnny. Oh, my, but isn't it a lovely day?
It certainly is, Mrs. Farnham.
But I do think I'd better have a scarf over my head.
I'll run upstairs and get one.
Would you mind, dear?
Hey, there's 2 scarves right here on the sofa.
Oh, never mind, Miss Irwin. There's some down here.
Yeah, here now. Which one do you want, Auntie? The green and red one or the blue and yellow one?
Why, doesn't matter, Johnny. Either one.
All right. Let's see now. I think the green and red one will go better with that robe you're wearing.
Yes. So it will.
Yeah, now, doesn't that look nice? All right, let's go, huh?
No, wait. I've changed my mind.
Huh? You mean about going out?
Yes. It's so much bother.
Bother? Nothing. You need some fresh air.
Well, I'll just sit here by the open window.
Look, you need some sun. Now, come along, Miss Derwin.
Please, Johnny, I don't want to go. I just want to stay here and rest. Please.
Why, sure. Sure, Auntie. Okay. If you don't want to go. Aunt Dehlia finally calmed down, but she still had Rena put her to bed. And she asked me to drive into town. She wanted me to get her some medicine she was out of. You know what I was doing? I was hoping the old lady was maybe coming down with something that would save Rena and me the trouble of that last wheelchair ride. But no. The next morning was cloudy and sultry. When I got downstairs, Rena already had the old girl out on the lawn in her wheelchair. She came over to me and whispered.
She just wants to stay there, Dort. No ride.
Well, that's tough. Well, that's real tough because she's going anyway. Now, come on, Rena.
Well, suppose she makes a fuss.
I think the 2 of us can handle an old lady in a wheelchair.
But if she screams...
So, she screams. All right. This estate is as isolated as Alcatraz. Come on. Let's get it over with.
All right. It's starting to sprinkle.
I know it is. Now, come on. Hurry up. Let's finish this thing before we get wet.
Miss Irwin, it's starting to rain.
Oh, we're coming, Auntie.
Oh, I just knew it would rain today. I just knew it.
Yeah. Well, here we go, Auntie.
You came just in time. I thought you'd forgotten me.
Forget you. Why, don't be silly.
Oh, dear, it's really starting to come down. Well, hurry. We'll be soaked. Johnny, the house is back that way. Johnny, where are you taking me?
Just relax, Auntie. Rena, help me push, will you?
Sure.
All right, let's make this quick.
Johnny, what are you doing? Stop it, Dr. Fast!
Johnny, do you hear me? I'm frightened.
Faster, Rena.
You're not my Johnny. Are you? You're not my Johnny.
Okay, Rena, let her go.
Oh, stop me, please. Please.
It was done. I looked over the edge to make sure. Yeah, she was dead, all right. I made Rena tear her hose and skin her knee, rub some dirt on the wound. It was raining hard now. As we got back to the house, I heard a car swinging around the last turn on the grade. It pulled up the driveway by the porch, and a man got out. It was Crittenden. Get hysterical, Rena. Come on, limp.
I tried to stop her, Mr. Braley. I tried to.
Mr. Crittenden?
John, what are you two doing out in this rain? Where'd you at?
Well, something awful's happened. I was just going to phone you.
Oh, I tried to catch
what's
her.
wrong?
I tried.
My aunt is dead. Dead? Yes.
And it's all my fault. All my fault.
Stop that. It's not your fault. What happened? Well, Aunt Dehlia asked Miss Derwin here to wheel her over there so she could admire the view.
In this rain?
Well, it wasn't raining then. Miss Derwin tripped and the wheelchair coasted downhill. She tried to catch up, but it just plunged over the cliff there.
Oh, call an ambulance. Maybe there's still a chance.
Well, Crittenden ran down to look over the cliff. I went into the library and phoned the ambulance and the police, too, just to make it look good. I was downing a double shot of bourbon when the lawyer came in.
That poor woman. At least she didn't suffer.
Oh, thank heaven for that. Use a drink?
No, thanks.
Well, I'll never forget that scream.
Don't
I tell you.
torture yourself. This young woman, what's her background?
Oh, Miss Derwin? Why, an employment agency sent her out. She has wonderful references.
Uh-huh.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry I lost control of myself.
Oh, Miss Derwin, this is Mr. Crittenden.
How do you do?
Mrs. Farnham's attorney.
How do you do?
Could I bring you gentlemen anything?
Nothing for me, thank you. No, please sit down and relax. You've had quite a shock.
Yes, sit down, Miss Derwin.
Thank you.
Yeah, there seems to be nothing to do but wait. I'm a fuss budget about these things, perhaps, but that bust of Shakespeare on the bookcase, isn't it in a rather precarious position?
What? Oh, I never noticed.
Right over your head there. It makes me nervous. I'll slide it back. Rather a top-heavy thing.
Look out, George!
My, that was close. Barely missed you. I'm sorry.
No harm done.
Lucky you had the presence of mind to call out, Miss Derwin. What was it you called, Mr. Bailey?
Well, I didn't call him anything.
Look out, Dort, was what you said. Why did you call him Dort?
Well,
It was just an exclamation. She saw the statue topple
And
over.
called you by your real name?
Mr. Crittenden, I'm afraid I don't quite see the reason for all this peculiar questioning with my aunt lying out there dead.
Mr. Braley, you said this, Derwin came recommended by an employment agency.
That's right.
Yesterday I checked every agency in town. There was no Rena Derwin registered with any of them.
that's not true.
You checked into the San Martin Hotel only the day before you reported here for your interview.
Well, that doesn't
One
mean...
of my assistants is checking those references you gave.
Mr. Crittenden, being my aunt's attorney, that doesn't give you the right to insult her employees. What are you trying to prove?
I had a talk with Mrs. Parker the other day.
Mrs. Parker? Oh, she's sore because she got fired, so she tries to create distrust and suspicion of this girl who took her place.
I've known Mrs. Parker for years. There was no physical or emotional reason why she should suddenly turn into an absent-minded, careless, incompetent...
Nevertheless, she did. Dr. Davis...
I talked to Dr. Davis, and he's of the opinion that somebody in this house engineered things so Mrs. Parker would be asked to leave.
I'm sure my aunt would resent your prying into the affairs of her household.
I'm afraid you're mistaken. This prying, as you call it, is made at your aunt's request.
What do you mean?
She telephoned me yesterday afternoon to tell me about a strange doubt, suspicion.
About what?
About you.
Me?
She suddenly was disturbed by the horrible feeling that you are an imposter.
Auntie thought that I was... Why, that's absurd.
Is it? Your recollections of your childhood here were quite convincing, except for one or two things.
But this is all very... Oh, you mean my fear of cats? But, well, look, people get over these childish phobias.
Yes,
After all,
more than that. Remember a drawing she showed you? A watercolor of a cow?
Sure, a green cow. What about
And
it?
the scarves? Remember you thought the green and red would go better with her robes than the blue and yellow one. So what? Doesn't it strike you as peculiar that a boy who could draw quite a fine cow should paint it green and then years later be so exacting about harmonizing his aunt's scarf? You see, John Braley was colorblind.
Suspense.
You look at the calendar hanging on the wall and you wonder if it's you or the day that makes it look so uninspiring. And you decide it's the calendar. They just aren't making good calendars anymore. You squirm around in your chair and take a look at the clock. 11:44. 11:44 of a Friday morning that shouldn't have happened. It's that dull. You swing back to your desk and pick up the phone. Detective Bureau, Lieutenant McDougal speaking.
Hello, Lieutenant. This is Bill Rand out of the Hillway Airport.
Yes, Mr. Rand, what can we do for you?
Well, I want to report a stolen plane.
I see. A what?
An airplane. It's been stolen. I want to report it.
Well, now, look, Mr. Rand, we take reports on stolen articles here, cars, things like that, but a stolen airplane...
I know there isn't much anyone can do about a stolen plane, but the trouble is, it's in the air.
Well, that figures.
The man who's flying it can't fly.
Well, in that case, you have nothing to... What?
I tried to stop him, but he had a gun.
Oh, now, just a minute, Mr. Rand. Suppose we begin at the beginning.
Well, this guy, he goofs around the field all the time, one of those hangar flyers. But today he showed up around 11 o'clock and said he decided to start taking lessons. So
Hold it, Mr. Rand, just a moment. Frank.
Yeah, Mac.
Get on the extension and take this report.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Rand, what was the man's name?
Regan. Charles Regan.
His address?
423...
Excuse me, Mr. Rand. My other phone's ringing. You go ahead and give the report to the sergeant. I'll be back with you in a minute.
Okay.
Hello. Detective Bureau, Lieutenant McDougal speaking. Oh, yes. Yeah. Now, wait a moment. Where are you calling from? Yeah, I see. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right, fine, Mrs. Stevens. We'll see what we can do right away, and thanks for calling. Mr. Rand.
Yes, Lieutenant?
I think we found your plane.
Oh, that's great. Where is it?
Well, the lady I just talked to wasn't too accurate, but according to her, was flying up and down in front of her house on Delaplane Avenue.
Flying up and down?
Well, that's the lady's way of putting it. I figure what she meant was that it was buzzing the street in front of her house.
Good Lord, Lieutenant, he's liable to crash that thing. You got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, Mr. Rand, but there's only one thing I'd like to ask you.
Yes?
What would you suggest? Yeah, the man's right. You got to do something. But what? Reach out with a long arm and pluck the plane out of the sky? Put out a call to the radio cars and tell them to bring in an idiot in a stolen plane? You look at the report that Frank's taken and you try to figure out your first move. Any move.
Here's the fellow's name and address.
Yeah, it's probably a phony.
No, I don't think so, Lieutenant. Rand said he got it off the man's driver's license.
Yeah, well, we can take a run out there, I guess, but it isn't going to help us to get him down. Did Rand say anything to you about why he thought the guy wanted the plane?
No. He said he acted fine until they got out to the takeoff line and warmed up the engine. Then he said the guy suddenly pulled his gun out and shoved it in his ribs and told him to get out.
Mm-hmm. So he got out.
What would you do, Lieutenant?
I'd get out. I'll get it with you, Frank.
Yeah. Detective Bureau, Sergeant Kelly speaking. Yes, sir. Yes, we've already got a report on that, sir. Where are you calling from? The courthouse. Yes, sir. Yes, we'll do all we can, sir. Thank you. Now what? Plane just rolled its wheels on the roof of the courthouse. They got a panic on their hands down there.
All right, Frank, get out a bulletin to the civil defense people. Alert the fire department, the sheriff's office, all of our cars. Tell them what we've got and to expect anything. I'm going to see if the Air Force can help us. You grab your phone and call the air base on the edge of town. It takes a little doing, but finally you get a colonel who's interested but firm.
Look, Lieutenant, I assure you we'd like to help, but what can we do?
Well, I thought maybe you could scramble a couple of your planes and, well, sort of head him off, make him go away from the city.
I'm afraid our jets can't fly that slow, Lieutenant.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Only somebody's got to do something to get this guy down before he kills a lot of people.
Has he got a radio on his plane?
I don't know. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute, Colonel. Frank, did Rand say anything about a radio in the plane?
He didn't mention it, Lieutenant.
We don't know, Colonel.
Well, I was thinking that if he had a radio and he had it turned on the tower frequency, we could contact him from here. At least talk to him.
Well, look, can you try it? If you can get him, maybe we can make him see what he's doing.
What's the number and make of the ship?
Wait a minute. I got it here in the report somewhere. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's a Cessna single engine.
Number N4091. Is that what you want?
That's it. If you want to wait on the phone, I'll have the tower put out a call right away.
Yeah, fine. I'll wait. You sit there waiting for the colonel to come back, and the minutes tick by, and you try to figure out some way to do this thing right. And you can't. If he has a radio, if he has the radio turned on, why would he have it on? You listen to the phones, and you hear Frank and the other people in the office taking calls. They're coming in faster now, and they're all about the same thing. An airplane with a fool in it who seems to be trying to kill himself. Trying to kill himself. Of course. But you can talk suicides out of it. You've done it more than once. Then the colonel's back on the phone again.
No luck, Lieutenant. He either doesn't have a radio or he doesn't have it turned on. We called him on all the frequencies and there was no answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, thanks for trying anyway, Colonel. You might keep calling.
I'll do that. And if we raise him, where can we reach you?
Call the Detective Bureau and ask for me. They can get me in my car if I'm out. And thanks, incidentally, very much.
Billway Airport, Bill Rand speaking.
Hello, Mr. Rand. This is Lieutenant McDougal.
Oh, yeah, Lieutenant. You got a line on my plane yet?
Now, listen, Rand. Did that ship have a radio in it?
Yes.
Well, good. Was it turned on?
Yeah.
You sure?
Well, sure, I'm sure. I turned it on myself.
Well, the airbase tower has been trying to reach the plane. It doesn't answer.
It doesn't that? Oh, wait a minute. I remember. While we were taxiing out to the flight line, I turned it down.
Why?
Well, I'd already gotten tower clearance.
Oh, but if it's on, why can't this character hear it?
The engine noise would be too loud.
Oh, great. Okay, Mr. Rand, thanks. Frank.
Yes, Lieutenant.
We can't do anything here but answer phones. Let's take a ride out to the guy's address and see what we can find. Maybe he's got a wife that can tell us something.
Such as what?
Such as how do I know such as? But we can't sit around here waiting until he's crashed. At least we might find out why he's doing what he's doing.
Okay, Lieutenant.
Come on, let's go.
Nice looking place.
Yeah, I hope someone's home.
Yes?
Mrs. Regan?
Yes.
I'm Lieutenant McDougal. This is Sergeant Kelly.
Police?
We're from the Detective Bureau. Your husband is Charles Regan?
Yes, that's right, but...
I wonder if we could talk to you for a moment, Mrs. Regan, about your husband.
Well, yes, of course, but is something wrong? Is he hurt?
No, not yet, Mrs. Regan. But tell me, has he ever flown an airplane?
Charles? Why, no. Oh, he sometimes goes out and hangs around the airport out at Hillway, but he's never flown a plane. I don't think he's even been up in one.
Well, can you think of any reason why he might want to take a plane?
Take a plane?
Fly one, Mrs. Regan. Take it up into the air.
Now, what's this all about? These questions don't make any sense.
Well, what's happened doesn't make sense to us either. Your husband went out to the Hillway Airport less than an hour ago, Mrs. Regan, and took an airplane away from the flying instructor, and he flew off in it.
What? He could kill himself.
Know any reason why your husband would want to kill himself, Mrs. Regan?
No.
Everything all right between the two of you?
I resent that, Lieutenant.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but sometimes we have to ask questions like that.
Of course everything is all right between us, only...
Only what?
Well, Chuck doesn't like people much. He sort of feels everyone's against him. He's so full of hate. And then this morning...
What happened this morning?
He was fired. Came home around 10:30 and told me he was fired.
Where did he work?
At the television station.
And what kind of work did he do there?
Well, he's sort of an idea man. He thinks up scripts and ideas and all. He has a lot of talent.
I'm sure he has, ma'am.
But somehow they just don't appreciate him. When I fired him this morning, it was the last straw. It was like somebody I didn't know. I'll show them, he said. I'll show them I hate them. I hate them all.
Does he hate you, Mrs. Regan?
Oh, no, Lieutenant. No, Chuck loves me. Oh, no, I can't believe it. Of course, my husband was upset, almost sick maybe, but he wouldn't do anything like this.
Wouldn't he? Oh, look up there.
N4091. That's the plane, Lieutenant.
Is that your husband, Mrs. Regan?
Yes, I can see him. He's waving to me. Chuck!
And now, we continue with 227 minutes of hate starring Charles McGraw
A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
Now you have a little more to go on. Not much, but a little. Now you know that Charles Regan is sick with hate. A hate that has given him the nerve to steal an airplane and the courage to fly it. Hate that may destroy him and who knows how many other people. You have to know more about this sick man before you can even begin to help him. And you haven't much time. His gas tank is racing the second hand right toward death. So you tell Mrs. Regan to stay near a phone in case you need her. And your next stop is the television station where Regan was employed up until this morning. The picture becomes a little more clear as you talk with the station manager, Carl Van Alden.
He must be crazy. And he's got to be.
Why did you fire him, Mr. Alden?
I didn't fire him. I let him go.
Why?
Oh, don't you try to implicate me in this insanity.
But why did you let him go?
He couldn't cut the mustard.
Well, I understand from his wife that he had a lot of talent.
Well, I'm the judge of talent around here. And in my book, if I ran this station on the judgment of housewives, I wouldn't be in business very long.
Has Regan been back around here yet?
Back here? You said he was up in the air.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. Back around here in that plane.
Why should he come back here?
Well, I've got the impression that Regan's awfully sore at someone. And my hunch is that someone is you.
A man has the right to run his business as he sees fit.
Oh, of course, Mr. Van Alden. And a man has a right to get mad about the way you run your business. Now, if the man is mad enough to go out and steal a plane, he can't...
Crazy enough, you mean?
Perhaps. If a man is that mad, I've got a funny feeling he wouldn't stop there.
What are you driving at?
I have a feeling that a man that full of hate would... Well, he would go for the man who hurt him.
Hurt?
Yeah, hurt. Like the guy who fired him. If I were that mad, I might even fly my airplane into the building where he worked.
Nonsense.
Well, maybe. But if I were you, I'd start thinking about evacuating this place.
Evacuate? Evacuate the building? Why, that's absurd.
Not if someone's thinking about flying an airplane down your throat.
Lieutenant McDougal, you're a policeman. Naturally, you think of things from your point of view. But think of mine for a minute.
I thought I was.
Oh, I don't mean my personal safety. I have a public trust. I must stay on the air. And then... Well, think of the miserable publicity the station would get if all of a sudden, in the middle of a broadcasting day, I shut down and ordered everyone to leave the building. Why, it could be embarrassing.
It could be pretty embarrassing, Mr. Van Alden, if you didn't order your people out and your former employee flew his airplane right through your roof and killed them all.
He wouldn't dare.
He might.
Well, I won't do it, Lieutenant. I will not be intimidated by a crazy man. Besides, I don't think he has the nerve.
He had the nerve to steal the plane, and he's sore at you. And he's flying around over the city like a punch-drunk moth. You don't think he'll do it? Well, I do. And I hope above everything else that I'm wrong.
I'll put out some bulletins, Lieutenant. Warn the people about what's going on. I'll use what facilities I can, do a public service job. But I will not order an evacuation. That I will not do.
Okay, at least it might have.
Good Lord.
You got an antenna on the top of this building, Mr. Van Alden?
Yes, of course. Two of them, as a matter of fact.
Well, I think your friend just flew between them. He flies pretty good for a guy that doesn't know how to fly.
But he can't do that. He might hit them. He might
even want to, if he's as sore at you as I think he is.
Well, you've got to do something.
Yeah, I know. In fact, I heard that somewhere else today, and you know what, Mr. Van Alden?
What?
I'm beginning to get a little tired of it. Yeah, you're getting a little tired of it, and very tired of Van Alden. You can almost begin to feel sorry for Regan. But then he makes another pass in ours, and you forget about being sorry for him. Matter of fact, you start thinking about getting out of there. Then Van Alden's secretary buzzes him and says there's a phone call for you, and pick up the phone, and the colonel of the Air Force.
I'm glad I found you, Lieutenant. We made contact with the plane.
You have?
Yes, we got on the radio. He answered our call, and we've got him on the tower frequency.
Look, that's great. Now, just keep him occupied. Keep him talking. Say anything to keep him from thinking up new stunts in that thing. Can you do that?
We can try, Lieutenant.
I'll be there as fast as I can make it.
Air Force 306. You're clear for straight-in approach. Traffic, 3F86 outbound. 1T33 on final. Over.
Roger, clear for straight-in approach. Air Force 306.
Hello, Lieutenant. I'm glad you got here so fast.
You still got him, Colonel?
Yeah, we've been talking to him. He's not too receptive.
How'd you get him to turn up his radio?
Must have been a fluke. Evidently, he made a fairly steep dive on something, and when he pulled up, his knee hit the volume knob. First thing we knew, he answered one of our calls.
Well, look, I want to talk to him. Can you get him for me?
Sure. Try the Cessna again, will you, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Cessna. 4091. This is Air Force Tower calling Cessna 4091. Come in, please, Cessna. Over.
Hello, Air Force. This is me. What's on your mind now?
Let me have that mic. Hello. Regan, can you hear me, Regan?
Yeah, sure I can hear you. Who are you?
I'm Lieutenant McDougal of the Detective Bureau. Now, listen, Regan. I want you to fly that plane away from the city.
Sorry, Lieutenant. I'm trying to get my liking up here over the city, and I'm going to stay here.
Look, Regan, you've got to think of the people who are going to get killed if you crash that thing into a building.
I've been thinking of it, Lieutenant. And I'm sorry for him, but I got something to do that's more important.
Listen to me, Regan. Go ahead, kill yourself if that's what you want to do. But don't kill a lot of innocent people while you're doing it.
Lieutenant, you're wasting your time. I'm getting so I can aim this plane pretty well. As soon as I get tired of flying it around the city, I'm going to fly it right into those towers on top of the television station. I've been pretty close a couple of times. When I get ready, I won't be close. I'll be right on target.
Regan, you're acting like a kid who lost his lollipop. So you got fired. A lot of people get fired. A lot of people get fired and don't deserve it. They don't go out and try to kill everybody. You say you can aim that plane pretty well? Okay, aim it towards the Air Force base on the edge of town. You ought to be able to find it. We'll get the crash trucks out, and we'll do everything we can to...
Save it, Lieutenant, save it. If you want to use those crash trucks, send them over to the television station. I'll give them a show they won't forget for a long time. Now, knock it off. You brought me.
Regan. Listen, Regan. Answer me.
His radio's still answered. I can hear the carrier hum.
Yeah. Phone.
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Get on the phone and tell the boys to start evacuating the television station immediately. Right. And ask Radio Central to get a car to Mrs. Regan's house and bring her out here. Tell them to hurry. Maybe she can talk some sense into him. You light a cigarette and stand in the control tower listening to the babble of voices from the sky. And you try to think what you've left undone. The clock says 2:14. 2 hours and 29 minutes since that phone call that started this nightmare. And you're no better off now than you were then. You suddenly think of Rand's report and the words gas aboard, approximately 3 hours. If he'd only run out of gas in the country somewhere, but you know he won't. You know he means what he said about flying down into the towers. And you begin to get scared. The clock moves around to 2:45. You've called Regan regularly, and he's answered twice. And his answers haven't helped. And then at last, Mrs. Regan arrived.
Lieutenant, have you talked to him?
Yes, Mrs. Regan, but he won't listen to me. Maybe he'll listen to you.
Well, what can I tell him?
You can tell him you love him. You can tell him whatever a woman tells the man she's in love with that'll make him listen. There's very little time left. You're the last chance we have.
Mrs. Regan, before you talk to him, I think you ought to know something.
Yes.
We've offered to help him land the plane here. We can do that. We've done it in bad weather with people who've had very little experience.
Chuck's never flown before.
I know, Mrs. Regan, but the main thing is to get him to come over here and make his try where we can help him. I want you to understand that we can help him if he'll let us.
Yes, thank you.
We're going to call him now, Mrs. Regan. And if he doesn't answer me, I'll give you the mic. You can call him, okay?
Yes, all right.
Hello, Regan. Regan, this is Tower calling you, Regan. Can you hear me? Regan, your wife is here and wants to talk to you. You try, Mrs. Regan.
Maybe he's not even up there anymore.
Maybe. But all we can do is try, Mrs. Regan. Now, please.
Like this?
Yes, that's right. Just talk into the mic and ask him to answer you.
Yes. Chuck, please. If you hear me, please answer me.
I hear you, Will. But I won't listen, honey. Just go away, please, and let me work this out my own way.
Chuck, they can help you land your plane if you let them. Chuck, please. Please, darling, do what they tell you.
Lil, baby, I'm sorry. I told you how I felt about the job. I told you what they were trying to do to me.
Darling, they weren't doing anything personal to you. Maybe they didn't understand you, but...
They talk, but they never come through. I'm going to come through for them, Bill. I'm going to put this thing right down their throats. I'll give them something to remember Charlie Regan for.
He's getting hysterical, Mrs. Regan. Make him mad or something. Say something to get him back.
Chuck, please. You can work somewhere else. You can get another job. You've got talent. And you're young. And I love you. I love you.
Little baby. Oh, listen, baby, I don't want to hurt you. I never wanted to do anything to hurt you. Yeah, I gotta do this now. Don't you see? I can't quit this time.
You won't be quitting. You'll be winning, Chuck. Don't you see, darling? You'll be winning.
Oh, baby, I don't want to hurt you.
Bring the plane over here, Chuck. Please let them help you. Please.
Well, I don't know whether I can do it. I don't know whether I can get the thing down even if I can find the field.
You can try, Chuck. You can try.
Okay. Okay, I'll try it. And honey.
Yes, darling.
I'm not mad anymore. I'm just scared. If I don't make it, please know I didn't want to hurt you. I never wanted to hurt you.
I know. I don't think you ever wanted to hurt anybody.
We better try to get him over here. He hasn't got much gas left.
Right. Take over, Sergeant. Talk him down.
Yes, sir. Hello, Regan. Can you read me? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Okay. Now, I want you to do just as I tell you. First, climb slowly up to 3,000 feet. Can you do that?
Yeah. I think so. The thing says 1,500 now. Is that the right one?
It should be. Watch it as you climb and see if it goes up.
Yeah, I've been watching it. It goes up and down when I do.
Okay, that's the one. Now, can you see the field from where you are? Look around carefully and see if you can see a big spread-out field with several runways. Long concrete strips.
Yeah, I can see it. You're pretty far away, but I think you're what I see.
Okay, now keep climbing and steer towards us. Just take it easy and I'll tell you what to do. Now, I want you to get used to some of the things you're going to have to do when you start letting down for your landing. First, there's a small lever or a wheel.
You watch in complete fascination as the sergeant speaks.
Find it?
Calmly, quietly, almost hypnotically.
It's a lever.
He makes it sound easy, almost like driving a car, and you begin to have hope. You actually begin to dare to hope that you'll work this thing out. Get this kid down, out of trouble.
You see what you're flying?
You look at the clock, and it's 3:07.
Yeah, it's sort of scattered houses and what looks like a dry riverbed.
Fine. You're about halfway here. Now, when I tell you, I want you to slow down and pull that lever down. I'll tell you when, but think about it so you can do it.
Hey, the engine's firing. I think it's quitting.
Listen to me, Regan. If it quits, keep the nose down and don't slow down under 80.
It's quit. It's all finished.
Head for the river bottom. Keep the speed at 80 and head for the river bottom. If you can get there, slow down by easing back on the wheel and let her lose speed when you're right on the sand.
I can't do it. I don't think I can do it.
Chuck, please try. Please. I love you.
What's his chances, Sarge?
He could make it. He could make it if he remembers to kill his speed. I don't know.
Don't worry, he'll make it, Mrs. Regan. I'm sure he'll make it. You say the words, but you don't feel them. You wish you could believe them, but who's kidding? A guy in an airplane crash landing in a riverbed. You know there's not much chance. And you stand there waiting. And time keeps running, but for you and Mrs. Regan, it's run out. And then the colonel picks up a phone that suddenly rings, and he's excited. And he hands the phone to you, and you listen to a voice on the other end.
He's come right down over to my house and banged down on the alfalfa. I thought he was going to take the roof off.
How about the pilot? Is he hurt?
No, I don't figure he is. Won't get out of the plane, but he don't seem to be hurt. Just sits there staring out the window. Plane ain't hurt much neither, as far as I can see. It just come down and skidded around a little and stopped. He must be a right good pilot to bring that thing down like that. Real good.
Yeah. Even better than you know. We'll be right out to get him, and thanks for calling. Well, you hang up the phone and reach for a cigarette. And you take the first real breath you've had since 11:44 that morning. 3 hours and 47 minutes of fear and terror for hundreds of helpless people because some guy let his hate get away from him. 227 minutes of hate. And you look at Mrs. Regan and you remember the way she sounded when she talked to her husband. Somehow you feel that it'll work out okay for Chuck Regan now that he's got rid of his hate.
Suspense. And the producer of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, the master of mystery and adventure, William N. Robeson.
It is a principle of law that a man cannot be charged, convicted, and sentenced twice for the same crime. There is no law in the books that says a man cannot murder his wife over and over again in his fantasy. For a man of sufficient imagination, repetitive uxoricide can indeed become a pleasant way of bringing time to a stop, as Vincent Price accomplishes it in present tense, a tale well calculated to keep you in
suspense.
dim pane, the cold, dark land wheels away, and the hills beyond, below the stars, are black and sharp. Dead hills, dark sky. Cold steel below my feet, cold as the face of the officer at my side, cold as the cuffs which link my arm to his, which join us on this journey to the prison where I die.
Want a cigarette?
No.
Go on, take one.
No, I don't smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
Has this happened to you before?
What?
Being handcuffed to a murderer, has it happened to you before?
Sure, plenty of times.
To an axe murderer?
Yep. You're not the special, brother. Lots of guys axe their wives. Lots of them.
I could have escaped after I killed her, but I didn't. Now it's too late. Late. Never too late, never too late, too late, too late. Escape. If the train were to be wrecked, if the detective were to be killed. Late. The sweet escape, the light escape, the crash escape. No. Oh, no. Oh, the darkness. Where am I? The cars must have gone down the gully. No light. And those people in pain. This thing's fastened to my wrist. Oh, we must have gone halfway through the glass door. Keep back. Keep back from his blood. I don't seem to be hurt. No broken bones. Escape. Now the key in his pocket. His bloody pocket, and the cuffs are off. His gun and the wallet. His face is gone. His own mother wouldn't know him. I'm free. Fire! Fuel oil! I must get away. Here. Now my ring onto his finger, and that completes it.
Bus number 63 from Bakersfield now arriving. Please claim your luggage at the curb. That's number 14.
Taxi, mister?
Yes.
Where to?
Up Beverly Glen above Sunset. I'll show you where.
Gotcha. Hey, you read about a big train wreck?
Yes. Understand almost 100 were killed. My home. It looked so small, so shabby. No one took care of it during the trial. No one cared. No one cares now. But that's good. I like that. I'll be alone, and I won't let the neighbors see me, and I'll sleep and figure out where I go next. The lights are on. Someone is there.
Ain't it slick, huh? The whole thing went so slick.
You'll always be the brains for both of us, won't you, honey, huh? Always?
No, it can't be. She's dead. I know she's dead. I killed her.
Want another bottle of beer, honey, huh?
Yeah, sure. Is it cold?
You bet it's cold, honey. But I'm not.
You said a mouthful there.
That husband of mine was never able to make me feel like this.
Well, it takes a man, baby.
All he would do was sit around and write those poems all the time.
We framed it so good that he even thought he killed you.
What was that? I heard a noise.
Mice.
You're funny. You know that? Real funny.
Open the kitchen door so quietly and walk softly. Here on the wall by the stove, the cleaver.
Honest, I hear something.
Hey, you're nervous. Yeah. Relax just a little bit more.
I see them now. It is she. How did they do it? How did they trick me into imagining the murder? I am innocent.
Sweetmeats. That's what you are. Sweetmeats.
Love her, man.
The pig in his dirty undershirt. Soft, weak, white neck. Fat on his arms. Pink. Grip the cleaver and walk like a feather. He shall be the first. Soft, white neck.
Honestly, I hear something.
What's the matter, Sweetmeats? What's it?
You killed him!
Yes. And now you.
No!
I was innocent, and I thought myself guilty. And now I am truly guilty. And never in my life have I felt so innocent. Like a dream, like a nightmare, the confession, the conviction, the sentence. And now once more, dark night, cold steel, the sound of wheels. Just as I lived it before. Why, even the cold face of the silent officer at my side. Hard, cold face, so much like that other face.
Want a cigarette?
No.
Oh, go on, take one.
No, I don't use them.
Okay.
Has this happened to you before?
What?
Being handcuffed to a murderer? Has it happened to you before?
Oh, sure, plenty times.
To an axe murderer?
Yep. You're not the special, brother. Lots of guys axe their wives. Lots of them.
But were you ever cuffed to an axe murderer who killed two people at once?
What are you talking about?
My sin, my crime, what I did, I killed them both.
That? Oh, take it easy, brother. You only killed your wife. Just her, just one, that's all.
In a moment, we continue with William and Robeson's production of Suspense.
Looking for a new lease on life? Never mind the legal language. Just tune in on the happy things that happen 6 times a week on the Amos and Andy Music Hall. New and old song favorites say cheerful things with music. Remember, the fun is on the house every Monday through Friday evening and each Saturday in the daytime, when the Amos and Andy Music Hall comes your way.
We continue with Present Tense, starring Mr. Vincent Price. A tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
It had been raining for some days now, and beyond the barred window, the leaden sky bleeds sorrow on the barren land, the lonely land, the land beyond the prison wall. The sky was blue when first I came here, blue, so blue. And now it has become as the walls of my cell, of all our cells, dark, cheerless cells, these lifeless cells, these cells of men who wait to die. That wet sky, gray sky, cheerless sky. But it is beautiful. I have 12 hours left of life. 12 hours left to live. Beautiful sky, beautiful, beautiful. Wet and fresh and alive. Oh, rather would I spend eternity at the bottom of a well with but one patch of that to gaze upon than leave this life, than leave this earth, than leave this sky. But leave it I must. The guard told me no man has ever escaped San Quentin's death row. Blocks and bars, guards and guns lie between me and the world beyond. No escape, not from here. But wouldn't it be nobler to gamble my life in bold attempt than lay it down in reckless resignation, eh? So, now to get out of this super-guarded area. Guard! Oh,
hey, pipe down. What's wrong? Hey, what's the matter with you?
God, my gut, here, it's killing me.
I'll call a medic. Now, as I press, you tell me where it hurts.
Everywhere, Doc. It's all over down here. The air. Oh, don't touch that place again. No.
Call the ambulance. This man's got appendicitis.
Do something, please.
Hey, what do I do? Why didn't they send somebody with you?
Well, the interns are all tied up shop today.
Oh, look, he's acting kind of crazy. Let's get him over to the hospital in a hurry.
I can't drive any faster. My windshield's steamed.
So wipe it.
You got a rag?
Here. You can use my handkerchief.
Hey, what's going on back there?
Your pal's out cold. And I've got his gun now. So keep right on driving, or the top of your head comes off.
You won't get away with this.
I will. I'm betting my life that I will. How far back is the prison?
About 15 miles, at least that.
Okay, pull over. Okay. I'm taking her from here. And you, I want your money and your clothes. And then you can take your pal back and explain about me. They won't find that ambulance for days, not at the bottom of that canyon. And now, I cross the border on foot and into Mexico. A little card bought in a back room with no questions asked, and I became a tourist. 4 days' growth of beard, and I became poor. An empty suitcase with a butterfly net strapped to its outside, and I became a source of merriment, a funny, dumb gringo. And who looks with suspicion on the funny, dumb gringo tourist who is poor? Mexico City is beautiful, but not when you're hungry. Not when you are an American who is hungry. Americans aren't supposed to be hungry, but what can I do? All I know is writing, the writing of poetry. There is one place I might sell some poems. Pollen, his magazine, prints some English stuff. Perhaps, well, why not? I have 3 pesos left. Buy some paper, a pencil, sit in the park, write, and storm the bastions.
Yeah. Good. They're good.
Do you like them, Mr. Pollen?
Well, excuse me. Lucita?
Oui, pardon?
I have some poems here.
Let me see. The river dappled, dreaming, droppled, fester passion of my soul. Muy bonito, muy bonito.
Yeah.
Just what I thought.
Oh, you're too kind.
The poet should read his own work.
Oh. Well, that drips, sweet droplets, passion's goblets, faith thy Lord.
Lucita likes your stuff.
A rare woman.
And I like what Lucita likes.
Aha.
She says we do a book of your stuff.
Oh?
So here's an advance.
Too much.
Take it.
When the book?
30 days.
Right.
Got the poems?
I'll get them.
Your name is?
Smith.
No good. True down.
So true.
I'll make a new one.
Please do.
And so?
Good day, and I'll be back.
In 30 days.
With the poems. America. Miles below, the bleak brown mountains, the desert, yellow and red, my own mystic land. My advance money went for new clothing and a round-trip plane ticket to Los Angeles, and my new lease on life. In a small file under the eaves of the little house in Beverly Glen, there are poems. More than 1,000 of them, poems which no one has ever seen, poems written in the evenings after work on Sundays. And now, with the beard and the hat and the glasses, no one will recognize me. A cane. Yes, I ought to carry a cane to get the poems. Does someone live there in the house? Has someone bought it? No matter. Get the poems and then get back to Mexico City. Someone is living here. I wonder who. The hedge is trimmed and my hammock. Somebody's put a new canvas cover on it.
Fred, get the door.
Get it yourself, baby. I'm shaving.
Oh, all right. Yes?
Oh, no. No, it can't be.
Well, what do you want?
It's Mary, but I thought I killed her.
Who is it, baby?
What is it, mister? What do you want here?
Are you the lady of the house?
Huh? Who's at the door?
Some creep with a beard. Yes, I'm the lady of the house, but I don't want to buy nothing.
Well, what is it, Santa? What do you want?
Are you the man of the house?
Yeah, I'm the man of the house. That's sweet, mate.
I'll say.
So, what of it?
Well, I'm making a survey. I'd like to ask a few questions. May I come in?
I don't know.
I'll let him. What's the difference?
Thank you. Well, first your name.
My name?
Yes, please.
Fred Sneed.
Where's he going? Mister, what do you want in my kitchen?
The cleaver, Mary. Don't you know me?
Mary. Hey, who are you, mister?
Look close, Mary.
Oh!
The cleaver. Put it down.
You know me?
No.
Know the man you tricked into San Quentin?
No, don't. Put down that...
You killed him.
Yes. And now you...
No!
Confession, conviction, sentence, transportation, and again the death house, as before. But when I came here, they promised I could keep the beard. They promised I could keep the beard. And it's gone. Gone. I can't remember when. What's that? Who's coming?
Ready?
Ready.
It's time to go, my son.
Time to go?
You've refused my help up to now, but perhaps you'd like to walk with me.
Rather beside you, Padre, than beside one of these mercenaries. My legs, the muscles quiver. Not with fear, no, but with the desire to feel themselves moving, straining, acting, while yet there is time. I am not afraid, but this body... I hate the thought of its being killed by these men. My beautiful body, soon it will be dead, cold, rotting, dead. It will rot. No, they must not do this to me.
You must be brave, my son.
My body. Years I spent with the great corporeal master, the yogi, learning my bodily purpose, my bodily care, The use of willpower to control my body. The yogi, my teacher. Yes, I shall use yoga. Suspend my breathing and become invulnerable to their gas. Suspend my body functions to the point of death and fool their doctor. Of course. Oh, yes. The greatest escape of them all. And this time I must succeed.
All right, here we are.
The room is so small. Somehow I had imagined it would be larger. And here is the chair.
All right, now,
Yes,
just sit down.
straps, hood. And over
Your
there,
arms along
the
the
glass. Small pane with the dark faces seen dimly
First
through.
this way.
The witnesses.
There.
The whole room is like some strange sort of time machine. Machine for launching a man into another dimension. And so true. But I'd best begin to prepare myself.
There we are.
Relax. Must relax. It won't be easy.
Have you any last words, my son?
Yes. Yes, one request. Do not allow my beautiful body to be dissected or embalmed, but on the third day after my death, cremated.
That will be arranged as you desire.
Thank you.
And God be with you, my son. Remember what Jesus Christ said to the two criminals. In this day shalt thou be with me.
Move
in
your head
heaven.
forward a little while I pull the hood down. There. Now, when you hear the pellets drop into the acid, don't try any tricks. Just breathe deeply, see? The fumes don't hurt, you see? Cooperate with us. Make it easy on yourself, kid. Know what I mean?
So dark here under the hood. Now, the last breath, as the yogi taught me. And the lungs hold it. Body limp, all muscles, tendons, joints. Relax all, slow the bloodstream, lock the breath, hold. Slow, hold. Suspend all bodily functions, hold. Fix the eye in, suspended animation gently. Fix the mind on time. Ease the beating of my heart. Time is a picture on the screen of my mind. Slower. My perception is slower. The time seems to spin by now. Go slow, my heart. Ventilators go on, clearing the air of the poisonous fumes. Now the doctor will come with his stethoscope. I will my limbs to stiffness, my flesh to coldness.
It's clear, Doctor. You can go in now.
Well, let's see now. Respiration has ceased. Heart has stopped. By the authority vested in me by the state of California, I pronounce this man dead.
I will myself to consciousness in 6 hours' time. Where am I? It's dark here and cold. So cold. Let's get up and see. Oh, prison morgue. It worked. But I'm cold. I'm so cold. What's this on my toe? Tag? It's too dark to read it, but I know what it says. It has my name, prison number, time of execution. Yes. And now, to look around. Because the next step must be played just right. This should be it. A coffin crate ready for shipping. Some cadaver being returned to a sentimental family. Well, that ought to be just right. And with him on my slab, my tag on his toe, and the most perfect escape of all time underway, here we go. I will my body to return from its state of suspended animation and to come immediately out of trance when next this coffin shall be opened. Hello, old man. Funeral parlor. Poor fellow. Must have a bad heart. Let's see. No, it's going. Let's hope he's out for a while. This must be the workroom. Light hanging over the work table, and there a locker. With a suit. Fine. And here, in the desk, might there not be some sort of... Yes, here. A petty cash box. And it's quite full. The old boy apparently doesn't believe in banks. And now that Lazarus has returned from the dead, this newspaper dateline. I was executed 4 days ago, and now I find myself resurrected in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Los Angeles, California. This is Los Angeles. You can claim your baggage in the station or on the platform.
I've returned to my home. A beautiful time to return home. My old hammock is there. My flowers, my yard. The house is empty. The lawyer said he'd had it cleaned up. My books, my pictures. Here, my old pipe. I haven't smoked it in years. Mary didn't like it. But now she's gone. I don't hate her anymore. Tobacco's still fairly fresh. Fill the pipe. There's that detective story I never got to finish. Now I'll have time. Now I'll have lots of time. Time to smoke and read and write and rest. Sun's almost down. Twilight. Wonderful time to get outside. Cool, sweet air. Wonder what kind of birds those are. My hammock. Oh, so nice. Light the pipe. Oh, and relax. Wish I could remember what page I was on. But no matter. I can begin again. I've got all the time in the world, the rest of my life. The birds. The sun is slipping out of sight. Death of the sun. How red the sky. How soft those clouds. So lovely. So lovely. What's that? Oh, birds playing in the fish pond. Look at them happy birds. That's hissing. Oh, the man next door is turning on his lawn sprinkling system. Lie here and smell the cool air. Evening coming on, the sky grows darker. Lie in the gathering twilight. Death of the day, birth of the night. Sweet softness of the summer night coming. Soon the stars. Oh, it's lovely. Heavenly, just like heaven. Lie and swing to and fro. To and fro. Heavenly.
By the authority vested in me by the state of California, I pronounce this man dead.
Suspense, in which Mr. Vincent Price starred in William N. Robeson's production of Present Tense by James Poe. Listen. Listen again next week when we return with Raymond Burr in the Peralta Map. Another tale well calculated to keep you in suspense. Supporting Mr. Price in Present Tense were Ellen Morgan, Peg LaCentra, Jack Crucian, Dawes Butler, Joe DeSantis, Charles Radulac, and Sam Pierce. Original score composed and conducted by Amerigo